Well, happy Friday night, everybody. Welcome back to Ribbon Candy Hooking. I'm Deanna. It is great to see you. I bet I'm almost seeing you. It seems like there's a little bit of a lag. There we go. Welcome to Ribbon Candy Hooking's cocktail night, gallery night, our favorite night of the week. Ruth, did you notice that I put your piece as the thumbnail? I loved all of the pieces you did and the thing that Richard was working on. So we're going to look at all of that in the show tonight. I think we might be having a small connection thing. There we go, Ryan. Great to see you. Happy Friday night. Your pieces are in the show as well. Good. I'm so glad that you saw that. I got some beautiful pieces for tonight. If you're just joining us for the first time, gallery night is the night. What we shoot for once a month. It should be a little bit more often because at this point, the event is kind of based around our Facebook group and our YouTube group, right? The YouTube group is Ribbon Candy Hooking. The Facebook group is Rug Hooking and Punch Needle Club. And we're kind of based around those groups of buddies. And it's such a large group of buddies at this point. I feel like we're always rushing at the end of gallery night. So I was careful to try. I was careful to try to keep it simple. I didn't put any extra fluff or any my normal foolishness. I left it your stuff so that we could just look at your stuff, talk about your stuff. I feel like I'm bleeding all over the place. I put on a white shirt today. Have you ever seen me wear a white shirt before? As it happened, I was just putting together Jocelyn's advent calendar, which is basically great idea for gifts, right? Kids, grandkids, neighbor kids, whatever. Jossie really likes Pokemon. I don't know why I'm whispering. I don't think she can hear me upstairs with her headphones on. She can't hear me when I yell for her. We'll put it that way. But I thought I'll do something. She's not really asking for Christmas gifts. I know she will think of stuff, but she hasn't thought of anything. So I'm thinking, it's not going to be like a crazy bombardment, embarrassment of riches on Christmas this year because yeah, the kids are really slow asking for stuff. So I thought, let me make an amazing advent calendar. So I went to Joann's and I got two of the thinnest pieces of PVC, the thin plastic. It's most often used, I think, to put over a tablecloth outside so the tablecloth doesn't get ruined. It's just clear waterproof. They have all different weights of it, but I got the thinnest one. And we got a bunch of packets of Pokemon cards today and a bunch of lottery tickets, which I know you're not supposed to do with kids, but she did not purchase them, of course. So I put them down. I laid them down, so it was like 25, like 5 and 5, like on a big piece of PVC, and then I folded the PVC over, and I took a bunch of stick pins and I just put them around the edge of each item, like pack of cards, little tickets. Some of the $1 tickets I doubled up, and so there's 25 spaces, and all separated by pins on all four sides. And then I started running it through the sewing machine. And of course, because the pins are pointing in different directions, I had many injuries. But incredibly, I don't see any on this white shirt. We'll see what happens. This one is a mean one that really hurts. But we'll see what happens. It's a fun project. I've got about another 5 minutes of sewing in it. But it's a really fun project. I recommend as a great gift idea. Because now I'm going to hang that thing up with tacks, and now she can take a pair of scissors and she can choose. I didn't number them. I could have numbered them, but she can take a pair of scissors and choose as long as it's on one of the border edges, right? Like south, east, or west. She can cut the thing out with a pair of scissors and have that thing for Advent. And if she can't go into the middle because then the whole thing will fall apart. But since it's sewn together, she can cut off cell by cell. And I thought Richard said, put a Band-Aid on it, girl. I should. I'm waiting for the family to come home. They're walking the dog. I might ask for a Band-Aid. It is really, it's not deep. It's just, when a stupid pin catches you, really catches you. That's all. All right, let's see. Is my jaw locks? Uh-oh. Just kidding. Melissa, great to see you. Welcome to Friday night, cocktail night, gallery night. Great to see you. Catherine, great to see you too in sunshiny Southern California. You sent some nice things too. Melissa, you too. Cheryl, great to see you. Cheers, my dears, to December. I almost said November. It is December 1st. Happy December, everybody. I'm really looking forward to I don't want to say coasting through or getting through. I'm really looking forward to enjoying our time tiptoeing through December calmly, looking at rugs, looking at projects, talking about the things that we can do, talking about each other's great work. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm excited. I feel a little bit together, and I'm just in that place where it's like, who cares? It's whatever gets done by the 25th gets done. Everything else, nobody's going to fall apart over a toy or something that doesn't arrive in time. Just doing our best, right? And I've got so many things for us this month, including the beginning of. If you remember last December, I started between the day after Christmas. I think it was December 26th. I started the Choose Your Own Adventure, but we didn't call it that. Probably a copyright issue there. I think I called it Elect Your Own Entanglement, and it was a Jane Austen themed Choose Your Own Adventure. And I will be doing that again this year, but with Louisa May Alcott. So she is the main character this year. And starting on December 26th, or earlier if I can get my jazz together, um, I'll start a story that's a little bit of an intrigue thing. And you will read little bits of it each night and vote and say, you think she should do this or you think she should do that. And that will sort of dictate what I do with the character the next day. And every few days, a pattern comes out that goes with the story. So there's a bunch of, if you're enjoying the story and you're enjoying the adventure, the mystery, or whatever it turns out to be, it's kind of up to you. Then you will probably also enjoy the patterns that go with it. So it does have this great rug tie-in, but it will be a cozy sort of holiday-themed adventure set in the 19th century, and the main character this time will be Louise May Alcott. So that will be a lot of fun for us to do together. I've got that going. I promise that will be out in time. And Cats Gallery, Cheryl, great to see you. Gail, good morning in Australia. Good morning and happy coffee time to you. So one day of the week that it's coffee time over there instead. Lisa, great to see you. Happy Friday night. It is super great to see you in Pennsylvania. Olivia in Ireland, great to see you. Happy holidays to you too, my love. Hope you all had a great Thanksgiving. We had a great. How about you all? Did you all have a great Thanksgiving? That's the first thing I should have said. How was Thanksgiving? For those of you who are in the U.S., I know Canadians, you celebrated last month. Ruth said, Richard said, put a Band-Aid on. Oh, your Richard said, put a Band-Aid on. As soon as they walk in the door, it's going to be the second thing I ask for. The first is going to be a drink of some sort. Melanie, great to see you. Happy gallery night to you too. And Diane, great to see you. You're there with the Malibu rum. Oh, you're making me jealous. I was working on that advent calendar until the last moment. Now, I'm looking forward to them coming back and giving me something to wet my whistle to. It won't be that nice. Dave, great to see you. Are you still traveling or are you back home now? Sounds like fun. It will be fun, Ruth. It was fun. It was really fun last year. And there is kind of like a recap of it with some new patterns of the Jane Austen one coming out in Magpie Times, which I think is available now. Let me check. As you know, we were running late with this issue. So, do you want the good news or the bad news first? I'm going to tell you the bad news first because obviously the bad news is this one was later coming out. There was a lot of content. It was all great. So, the good news is everything in Magpie Time, as always, but I feel like this issue, Marshmallow World, that's just coming out, I feel it is remarkably good, right? If I do say so myself. I only have a small hand in it. You all have a much bigger hand in it. I put a few things in it, just one full article, I think, but it is a jam-packed issue that is Christmas and holiday and seasonal, right? It's not just pure Christmas. There is so much variety in this issue coming out. It's just crazy. Judy sent it to me to look at on Thanksgiving, but I had already left to travel to Massachusetts with the family, and I didn't bring my laptop. So I didn't get to actually look through the PDF, hoping that everything was all right, nothing had changed, until quite late last night when I felt like, we hit so much traffic coming back. I basically crawled across the backyard, right up into bed with my laptop, looked at it, and I was thinking, God, if I see a typo or something right out of the gate, I'm going to be so sad. God, it looks gorgeous. It looks gorgeous. For all of you who submitted something, put something into the gallery section of Magpie Times or a full blast article, you did great. It is a beautiful article. I'm just checking to see because we uploaded the issue earlier. It is there. It is there. Right there on Amazon. The Kindle edition is available. So maybe okay, right now it's the Kindle edition, which means that the print edition will follow, like before tonight is over. So it gets approved in different waves. You know what I mean? I don't understand it, but that's how it works. So, Marshmallow World, Magpie Times Marshmallow World number 4, which is a winter issue, is there on Amazon right now. I will stock it in the store as well. I just wanted to be sure that it was there. If you're, if you're not near me, I don't want you worrying about the timeline. If it takes a long time to come in the mail, whatever, I didn't want to have to ship it twice. So I will order them. You can order them from me. But if you're worried about the time and you think you're going to want to do Christmas projects in it, you might want to order it straight from Amazon. So hold, and I will give you a link both in this video after the show and on Facebook, and I'll make a post in YouTube so you can see it all over the place, and you'll see it pop up on ribboncandyhooking.com. You all did a beautiful job with this issue. Now be thinking about the spring issue and what you want to do for Busy Bee, right? The theme Busy Bee for spring. Ruth, you just got issue number 3. That's another beautiful issue, the Country Fair. They are all fantastic, and I just want to remind you, anybody, think about it. Everybody, think about it. Submitting something to Magpie Times. It's a beautiful, glossy, full blast magazine. It doesn't have any advertising in it. Judy and I are just doing this on our own. You are providing content. We're providing content. It feels great to be published. Whether you have been at this for years or you're a beginner, it doesn't matter. It feels great to be published and to be seen. It's the same thing as being heard. You know how you feel when you're saying something and the person is not hearing you. It feels the same. It's the same kind of dynamic. It's great to see your stuff in print. It's so validating. I hope that you will all think about submitting something for the spring issue deadline, February 1st. So Diane, in Canada, you could get it on Amazon.ca. That's the main reason I put it up on Amazon, so that people in other countries could get it. Because I know people buying, I can see where people are buying from. It's everywhere, right? There's mostly U.S. and Canadian buyers, but in Canada, it used to cost about $37 to ship that magazine up there, which is way more than the magazine cost. So you can get it on Amazon.ca. You'll see the 3 past editions in print, and later tonight you should see, and I will again post the link for the current one. So those are all there, and if you have Prime, it ships free. But regardless, it ships locally, which is a big difference for you in Canada. Nikki, great to see you. Thank you so much for sending something in. I got it in at the last minute. I was so happy to see your piece. It's at the end of the show because I caught it at the last minute, but I am so glad. If you all remember, Nikki joined us last time. What was that? It was a weird day, wasn't it? Wednesday. It was Wednesday. As a beginner, just looking to learn, and she's already started a fantastic project. Isn't it great when things work that fast? It's meant to be. So we'll look at that definitely at the end of the article. Kathy, great to see you. Happy Thanksgiving from New Hampshire. You're so happy you can finally log in. I'm so happy to see you. I was so sad I missed you in the fall with the festival season and all of that. You sent some beautiful pieces today, too. You sent a couple of real beauties. Well, it's great to see everybody, and I'll keep an eye on the thread, but I want to get going because sometimes we run out of time. I have a bunch of things that I want to tell you, but I'll tell you later. And in short, we had a great Thanksgiving, and I hope you did too. It was a lot of fun. We spent our first Thanksgiving in Concord, Massachusetts, where we've gone for about 45 years, but it was the first time that we went for Thanksgiving since my dad passed away, which was like 15 years ago. So it's not like it's new, but we just thought it would be super, super, super sad. And it wasn't, I mean, it was sad because we missed him, but it wasn't miserable. It was just busy. So I don't know that we'll do that again. Everything was busy. Traffic was busy. Stores were busy. Everything was too busy for me. I just don't like crowds anymore. But it was great to have done it, to know that we were good, right? We were all good. And we had a wonderful time. It really was wonderful. I just felt like we didn't get as much done as we normally would because there were so many people in our way. Joking. I'm joking because we were one of those too. But just standing in stores, I passed on a bunch of stuff I wanted to buy because I just couldn't stand in line. You know, it's just these little shops. It's all crowded, and but it was wonderful. It was wonderful. I wouldn't have changed a thing. I'm very glad we did it. But I think next year we're going to go back to going in December and just try to avoid some of that incredible volume on the highway, right? Oh, wow. All right, C's, let's get started. So this is November. This is December 1st, I know, but this is our gallery night from November. This is just the first opportunity that we had to weasel in. So let's get started with our first piece. And you see I have an old vintage postcard behind me on the green screen. Diane, great to see you. Happy Marshmallow Worlds to you too. I keep hearing that song in stores now. I just love it. I've had the Christmas music on since Halloween. So shame on me, but I'm enjoying it so much. And it's not a. Oh, Teddy, can you come in here? Here's my chance. He's probably going to hijack the show, but let's see how it goes. Let's come to our first item over here. I am live. I am live. Right? Watch yourself. All right. Yep, he is just bellowing. Andrea, I finally got your poppies. Okay, hold. I don't wanna distract. You coming to say hi? Yeah. Listen, can you go get me come down and say hi to everybody?
Hello.
Get your little face in there. Say happy Thanksgiving. Right here, baby. Right there. Oh. Right there. There he is. Look at he's like the yeah. What's that the dog called with the big, I mean not Bob Ross, but like the big dog with the big, sorry, you're not like you're a dog, you're a sweetheart. Can you go get me a Band-Aid and ask Papa to get me a drink?
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
I think I know where the Band-Aids are.
Yeah, give me a Band-Aid, please. You're getting somebody saying hi to you, Ted. All your buddies are here. Nikki, I watch the Hallmark Channel all through the year too. It's like it's a disease. I can't stop. Andrea, I am so sorry that he's such a good boy. I am so sorry it took me so long to get this piece in here. I did a really stupid thing with Andrea's piece because she always sends lovely stuff, and I'm always excited to show them. But this is what happened, just so you know, just in case this happens to you too, and you think, why didn't Deanna show my piece? What happened was Andrea and I have such a long thread on YouTube from chatting and from gallery night, like lots of things sent on gallery night, but chatting back and forth, how's it going, things like that. And we ended up having such a long thread that when she sent this 2 or 3 times, the photo that I was seeing was a gallery night photo that I had already shown for gallery night because the thread had gotten too long and it wasn't showing me the most current thing like immediately. It has to be immediate for me because I'm a ding dong. So like 2 or 3 times Andrea kept saying, oh, my thing wasn't in gallery night. And I'm like, I'm sure I'm up to date with your stuff. I looked at the thread, just so you know. So when you send me your gallery stuff, it's best practice, I think, to send it as a new thread just to be sure. You know what I mean? Just to be sure. Don't count on me to be smart with technology. And don't you ever think that I didn't put something of yours on a live show on purpose. You know I would never do that. It's just me being stupid with the computer. You got my Band-Aid?
No, I don't. The thing is that it's in the spice cabinet, right?
I ask Papa for a Band-Aid and some alcohol,
all right,
please, and also some water.
All right.
All right.
Get that.
Yeah, thank you, baby. All right, so I finally got Andrea's going. Andrea, I apologize again. I was a real stupidity stoop. Now, it is a gorgeous piece, isn't it? Ryan says the texture and the color of the poppy piece is so lovely. It is so lovely. Texture is what it's about here. Also composition, also color. So Andrea says, so here is where the poppies grow. This is a small piece at 12 inches by 7 inches on monk's cloth, wool, yarn, and wool strips. I wanted to do a Dion Fitzpatrick style, a field rug, right? Just flowers in the field. I wasn't sure if I could pull it off, so I only did a small one, but I love it so much that I'm going to do a big one next time. So remember, Andrea is in the UK where it is very hard to find supplies. I was thinking you're using monk's cloth instead of linen, but you do use monk's cloth and you love using monk's cloth. This is a beautiful piece. Now, it is in the style of Dion Fitzpatrick, but it is not a Dion Fitzpatrick pattern. It is also in the style of Monet, right? It is also in the style of every impressionist painter because that is the style.
Oh, do you want ice cubes?
No, I can do without ice cubes. Thank you for asking, hon. I'm okay without ice cubes.
I got it.
Thank you, sweetie. And see if he can find a Band-Aid.
Let me show my face again.
Okay,
Sorry.
one more time. Here he comes. One more time.
Wasn't in frame properly.
Yeah, you got a lot of people saying hi to you, so make sure you say hi back, you sweet. You weren't framed properly. There he goes.
There we go.
There he goes. There. You are so sweet. You know that?
Thank you.
He is so sweet.
Thank you.
Yeah, he's the sweetest. So his buttons take a nice walk?
Yep.
Oh, very
I'm
good.
pretty sweaty and also
Okay.
pretty cold at the exact same
Well, maybe
time.
take a shower because I hate to say it, but you have school tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, I know. I normally do that stuff at like 10 on the dot.
All right, whatever. You know, when we talk about something being a certain style, Dion Fitzpatrick obviously is iconic, and I love her work. It has changed rug hooking. She over the years has brought rug hooking into a central invisible place, particularly in Canada and now all over the world, right? With this style, this impressionist style of hooking. Now, what makes this different? What makes this different than other styles of hooking? Well, it's an impressionistic style. It absolutely is. Nobody owns an impressionist style, just to be clear, right? I don't want anybody saying like, oh, it looks like this or it looks like that. It's in the style of a lot of things, impressionism. And one of the things that impressionism as an art movement does best and did so well was waking people up to the idea that when you look at a composition, number one, it doesn't have to be a rectangle, it doesn't have to be a landscape, it doesn't have to be a golden rectangle, one of those sort of formulaic canvas sizes, right? It could be huge, it could be tiny, it could be tall, it could be wide, it could be very irregular. And the composition can be made up of layers of interest. That is something that is almost universal amongst impressionist painters. Not entirely, but painters like Monet, like Seurat, painters who did a lot with blending, having your eye blend, dot, 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 dot. And then you look at it, you blend the colors yourself, and you take away an impression of what the thing looks like. It is not a graphic style where everything is in focus and outlined and articulated perfectly. It's not that at all. It's the opposite. The reason that Impressionism is named Impressionism is because a critic, meaning someone who wrote articles for the newspaper, not necessarily poised to criticize, said to Monet, now what do you call this painting? Because it's so different, right? One of his early Impressionist paintings, there wasn't a word for it yet. And he said, I just call it, he hadn't even thought about what the name would be, impression. Just call it impression, because it's my impression of what this scene looks like. And that is why we say Impressionism now, because it really caught. It's the only way to describe this style. It is so emotional. It's very color driven. Impressionist work have such energy, in this case, strong vertical feel, right? It's very, very, not just the shape of it being tall and thin, but those big fat poppies standing up on these tall vertical stems, really, really smart. And then the field kind of ends, right? And there's different colors in there. Andrea snuck in some different kinds of green, some warm, hey Lisa, some warm mossy green, some spearmint green, grassy green, some brown bronzy greens. Nikki says, I love it. I want to do Starry Night. Starry Night is such a good one. I found all my Starry Night stuff, by the way, just so you'll know. You know, and then you travel up off the field and you're starting to see things much further in the distance because they're just colors. They're impressions. More red flowers. You just get the impression. You don't see the individual flowers. You don't need to. The beauty of it, right? The emotion that it evokes, it does not rely on the shapes being really firm. It really relies on the movement of color, the shift, right? The energy, the way it resolves itself. And in this case, the bottom is very strong because the flowers are very, very good. And that light red color really helps look like the sun is catching some of the petals, doesn't it? And then that mass of colors in the middle, which gives us the impression that there are fields upon fields in the distance of different colored flowers. And then we see a good, strong silhouette, good dark silhouette of a tree line, which stops our eye. Boom, you're done. And then just a tiny peak of a pretty blue sky with pretty blue clouds, right? Really resolves itself nicely. It's a beautiful piece, Andrea. You said I wasn't sure if I could pull it off. Now, 12 by 7, I've got to say, not only did you pull it off, when you're doing a piece this small, it's harder. When you do a large piece, you have the time, right? You can really take liberties. You have got the time to think it out, to plan. If you screw one section up, you know that you can maybe recover in a different section, right? You know you can, because you have time and you've got space. When you've only got a tiny little thing, 7 by 12, right? Every loop counts. It's true. So you have to be, with smaller pieces, you have to be a little bit more discerning where your colors are going. If you see that you've like hooked in some grass or a bush or some flowers and you're thinking, I'm not sure that's right, you're much more likely to have to take it out in a smaller piece than a larger piece, because in the larger piece you can work around all those small mistakes, right? They will be absorbed in the sheer scale of the piece. and you can throw in the kitchen sink, and it's all going to work. With smaller pieces, you have to be much more careful. So be thinking about that, because the plus side of doing small pieces is that if they come out right, like Andrea's did, it's it's heaven. It's perfection, right? It is absolutely like you are right there at the gates of heaven. It's perfect. But if there's even a small part that's wrong, it's going to drive you crazy, and it might kill the feel, the overall composition of the whole thing, right? Not just that one little part. So something to think about, right? I'm catching up while my mouth is running. Yeah, that's right, Nikki. Your brain pieces together all of that stuff because it's familiar terrain, no pun intended. We all know what flowers and fields of flowers look like. So when we see it like this, we already know. It's just a question of how does it make you feel, right? How does it make you feel? How do these colors make you feel? If some people would say, oh, I like an autumn palette or I like a pastel palette, whatever. I love this palette. It makes me feel like it's the winter's going to go by before I know it, and I'm going to be busting out of the door and running through fields of poppies in my favorite walking places. And I can't wait and seeing all of those colors behind it. How does it make you feel? That's the only thing that matters with any art, whether it's fiber art or anything. Does it make you feel something? And if it makes you feel like you love it, well, then things are good. Life is good. Mandy, this is the picture that I peeled off your email from last time because this was a Christmassy image. And in the email where Mandy sent this, hey Mandy, there was also a Halloween picture. So I used that for our last gallery night, but I saved this picture. You know how up in Canada, right? Spot the cat is always hanging out while Mandy is hooking, and Mandy is always hooking. Remember, she just hooked the cameos and the puzzle, which is in the description of this video, the murder mystery puzzle. It is there. Mine should be here soon. I wonder if it came actually. I'll have to check the mail table. I want to open it with you and show you what it looks like. That'll be a lot of fun. Not the solution, obviously, but Mandy did all of that hooking. She is phenomenal. This is a different design that she ordered from me. It's one of the vintage postcard designs. We're just seeing a glimpse of it here. And it is a Santa in a sleigh being pulled by reindeer. It's one of the vintage postcards that I do. I'm very careful about the way I draw my vintage postcards because, of course, postcards that are before 1928 or any image before 1928, anybody can recreate. You don't need me to do it for you. And I know other rug hooking stores carry postcards and different images. Hopefully I don't typically have the time to go through other rug hooking stores. Hopefully we don't carry exactly the same thing. That would be a bit heartbreaking. But I like to think that I do my designs a little bit differently and to ensure the ease of the hooking. I'm very careful about what lines I keep in and what lines I keep out. And in this case, it is coming along really well. She's having no problem, obviously, hooking a design that is incredibly elaborate, but a little bit simplified, right? All the main parts picked out. Is that a flag is that Thailand, the flag? What a jolly, fluffy Santa, Ryan says. It is. It is. He is so good. I love the expression on his face. Remember, Mandy hooks with yarn only. And she's used a more nubby, kind of roving kind of a yarn, a looser yarn, on his hair, on his beard, on the fur trim of his jacket, cuffs, and hat. So as she finishes this up, we're going to have more peeks at it, I'm sure, because it is such a beautiful piece. And Mandy wrote, I thought I should send these pictures of Spot. She has found her way into my basket of yarn bits while I'm working on the Christmas mat. She's also made herself a new bed on top of the Halloween rugs. That was the one I put into the last gallery night. Spot, you little sweetheart. Oh, that little sweetheart. Jessica, you sent some beautiful stuff. You sent 2 emails at 2 different times with different projects. Jessica works so fast. And Jessica, you have only been, this is your 2nd year of hooking. Like that's impossible. How do you do it? Like this is being, Nikki, this is inspiration. This is being like a protege. This is when you're meant to do something, you take to it like a duck to water, don't you? When you're meant to do it. And when you're meant to do something that you really love and it clicks and it feels right and it's your thing, and you're its thing, right? You belong together. Everything just goes easier. You know what I mean? sometimes you work on stuff, or I take up something new, and it's usually something of one of the kids, like they're trying a different craft thing, like pyrography or whatever, and I'm like, man, this is not easy. Like, it's just not coming to me easy. I'm just not enjoying it that much. Whereas with rug hooking, I feel like you know pretty quickly, if you love it, it goes well. You love the idea of just grabbing something, maybe not a Kleenex, but grabbing something, cutting it up, hooking it in, boom, onto the next thing, right? Or onto the next part. It's just so much fun. It's so much fun. And that's the experience that Jessica had, right? She just started hooking, and she has been um, epic in terms of volume, but also the quality of her work, her original designs, crazy, crazyville. So this is one of them. Let me describe this one first. Jessica says, hi, Deanna. Here is the Christmas rug I'm working on now. It's a big one for me, 52-inch diameter. That is big. That is very big. I drew it out 8 days ago. Seriously? Seriously? And have really enjoyed hooking it so far. On one side, I drew me, my husband, and my 4 kiddos playing in the sun. On the other side, okay, let's take a look. Yep, I see that. So that's the side on the bottom that we're looking at where it says Merry Christmas. On the other side, I'm planning to draw a scene from Ted's childhood, a four-wheeler pulling him and his friends on sleds. They were hooligans. And a scene from so Ted, I think, is her husband, and a scene from my childhood building snowmen with my sister. That's it. So this is really a family rug, right? This is a rug for the parents, about the parents when they were little kids and their kids now who are still little kids. Um, and then she goes on to say, my husband and I are celebrating our 14th year anniversary next week. Jessica, happy early anniversary to you and Ted. Next week, and it inspired several elements in the rug. In our reception, we had painted silver and gold branches for centerpieces, and we hung teal bulbs and wool dove ornaments. My crafty mother-in-law probably made over 100. Remember, Jessica learned how to hook from her mother-in-law. I included a pic of one hanging on the tree. I'll show you that in just a minute. And she says, I drew the design as a Christmas tree skirt, but I'm rethinking that because I really love it. And I don't just want to see it covered in stuff under the tree. I'm thinking maybe I'll turn it into 2 half circle rugs with ties. Then I can put them together as a circular rug, use them under the tree, or use them as 2 separate half circle rugs. Oh my word, that is really smart. Oh, that is so smart. Okay, I want to talk about the rug, but let's talk about that idea. She's absolutely right. If you're going to spend this kind of time on a 52-inch diameter rug, it's going to take you some time. And it is, number one, really sad to just see it like right around Christmas time, and really to not see it because it's covered with gifts. That's absolutely true. So she's saying, what if she cut it in half and it was tied together? Because you know how tree skirts are always tied together at once, like in the back with ties, just to keep it shut. Well, would it make that big of a difference if it was tied in 2 places? Like, I don't think so. I mean, like, I hate modern stuff, but you could even do something with Velcro, like something sneakity deaky, where it's really connected even without a tie, that kind of folded back under. That could work really well. I love the idea of having it as 2 separate rugs, because the story of the 2 families and then them coming together and making a family is beautiful, and something you want to look at more than just once or twice before it gets buried. Oh, Diane, thank you. I'll send you the story as soon as I'm done with the show. I think that's a really good idea. That's good for all of us to think about, because if you are working on a tree skirt, and I know some of you are on the Facebook group, that is something to think about. And is it a pain to undo part of it and pull out some of your loops? Yes, but I mean, it's a pain of moments, right? It's a pain of a few minutes. It's not a pain of, like, a full day or weeks. And then you do get 2 different rugs, and let's say you wanted them in the living room or the family room or whatever. You could put them in 2 different places in the same room, and they would kind of like they would match, right? They would coordinate perfectly. As usual, Jessica's doing some amazing stuff here. Even the snow with the tracks running through it, brilliant. Look at the font. Look at how well she did with the words. I've never done words that well to date. That is really crisp, really well done. Just to look at how smart the placement of the letters on the whitest value, the lightest value is, and the addition underneath of the rocks, right, gives you a sense of the landscape, gives you a sense of it being rugged and real. It's not like a picture postcard; it's their life. Um, it's wool on primitive linen. Oh, Jessica, you're there. Great to see you. We are loving your rug. Jessica, I love the idea of cutting it in half and making it into two rugs. I think that is so brilliant because I was just saying they would kind of coordinate if they were like near each other. And yes, you could look at them for a while longer. You could look at them in two different places. You could easily seal them on two sides. And that's a great idea. I'm saying to everybody, yeah, this is amazing. It is amazing. Now, Jessica, you did a lot with texture. So you're doing your kind of Waldeboro magic, raising the texture on the trees, a little bit in the background in the sky, but I think that's more you move to a different, like a looser yarn, a softer, more unspun yarn for those peachy parts that are lifted a little bit. But the trees seem to have a high relief. Did you hook them high, Jessica, or did you hook them in like a weird yarn, or did you clip them at the surface? I'm wondering. Absolutely crazy. Love the doves too. So right on cue, Ruth, you said it right on cue. So these are the doves that your mother-in-law made, and she made so many for your wedding. Sounds like it was a beautiful winter wedding, and you've got one of the doves on the tree still, which is just beautiful. So that is one of the projects that you're working on. You had two other projects that you just finished. You have been working away. This is the beginning of another message that said, I just finished hooking some snowman patterns. This is a helping hand patterned by my mother-in-law, Marlene Troyer. Um, Perennial Blessings, a family painted by her sister-in-law. Okay, so I think this is the first one. So let's hold on this one for a minute. So this is by your mother-in-law, Marlene Troyer, and this one is called A Helping Hand. And isn't this adorable? I want to stretch it a little bit too. Let's stretch it right now. It looks like it is. One of the snowmen has slipped on the ice, clumsy little old snowman, and the French snowman is lifting him up. That is absolutely adorable. I want to look at it a little bit closer up because it looks like you have got, taking you for a ride here, hang on, quite a few techniques going. Yeah, you do. Look at you, Jessica. Look at you. Okay, so you can see, even though some of the fiber is similar in tone and color, right? AKA the beiges, the blues, the whites. There's lots of different materials in here. There's lots of different heights. You can see in some places she is clipping, right? You're clipping the surface of the tree. It's great to see you, Jessica. Love the doves. So darling it is. You see the white tree here is being clipped. Now, Jessica, behind the white tree, I see that blue and it looks like a chain. Were you doing the chain stitch in that area that we've been doing lately and fooling around with? That great stitch that is so much fun to do and gives you such a different look. Jessica says, yes, I used a really loose wool yarn on the trees. We're talking about the tree skirt, almost like roving, and tucked wool strips in between so that it has some dimension. Amazing. Oh, you're coming up, you're writing all this down, right, Jessica? Wink, wink, because these are great techniques. And you're getting lots of kudos in the thread, as you should. I'm going to come up here a little bit. Now, Jessica, how did you fill in the pond? That is beautiful. See, the kind of yarn that Jessica's talking about, that roving, for those of you who are beginners, right? The roving is yarn, but it's not spun so tight. It doesn't have a twist. It's not, it's the last stages, like while it's being manufactured, gets spun by machines, typically, can be hand done too, but gets spun by machines. And when you're seeing roving, right, it hasn't gone to the very end of the finishing process. It is less refined than other types of materials. Wool roving, wool bat, these are not that, which looks like cotton candy. These are not finished. These are fibers that are a little bit looser. They are a lot of fun to hook with, a lot of fun to work with, and I feel like it's really fast working with these different kinds of materials. Jessica, it looks like around the hat on the snowman who fell down and the cuffs, all of the trims, also on the little boots, it looks like that faux animal fur stuff that is yarn. Is that what it is? It has kind of a mesh back and a very high pile that looks like fake animal fur. That's what it looks like. I'm so curious. I know you're probably madly. Okay, so that part at the top, the blue pond, you did the chain stitch. Fantastic. Now down at the bottom, I know we're asking for a lot. I'm wondering if you just laid that. Did you do it with a needle and thread like a long stitch, more of an embroidery stitch than a hooking thing? I love the swirls in it as well, and love the scarf tied around the snowman's neck. Jessica, your work is so evolved. It's incredible. You do so many techniques in one piece, but despite the fact that you do so many techniques, here's more cut pile at the beginning, that at the bottom that looks more like latch, right? And this is why I always say, don't ever put latch down. This isn't latch. This is hooking. But anything with a high pile seems to look like latch to us, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's actually a great gift to realize that you can do stuff with a much higher cut pile, right? And if you're not doing a unicorn or a magic mushroom or whatever, 1970s leaves, it's not going to look like the latch that you grew up with. It's going to look like art, just like this. It's great. Oh, Jessica says, that is faux animal fur. I got some from the thrift store and cut a strip. Excellent. Excellent. Just catching up on the threads. I mean, you know, I have to say, Jessica, this is one of the reasons I love you so much. I love your work so much. You know, you are able to put in so many techniques in materials into one piece, and it does not look chaotic. It doesn't look scrappy and messy. I don't know how you do it. It's just this weird sort of magic alchemy thing that you've got going on. Your colors are always very, very well balanced. This is an almost all cool palette in theory, except that so many of the whites are warm whites up at the top, right? It's almost like the sun is hitting them. When you mix cool colors and warm colors, you do get magic. That's alchemy. It's it's so hard to think about it before you start doing it, right? Once you get into working on a piece, if you feel like the colors aren't quite working, think about warm versus cool, right? Because a balance is what really helps your piece along. Also, the beautiful warm colors in the standing snow woman I think it's a snow woman, doesn't matter, does it? Who's picking up the buddy. That sweater is gorgeous. I mean, I would love to buy that sweater. That sort of color blocked sweater has a kind of an 80s feel. These beautiful, mellow, kind of Santa Fe colors, very warm, and a little bit of cool blue on the elbow. Isn't it stunning? Nikki says, I really like how the carrot noses come to a point. Yeah, and then you did it. Yeah, that looks great. That, you can do noses however you like, however you want. I feel these noses are like just wide enough, long enough, pointy enough, and also the perfect color. And there's so many different kinds of noses to do, including the button nose, right, from the song. We always think of Frosty with a carrot nose, but the original Frosty had a button nose. We're used to carrots now, I think. Really beautiful. What if the sweater was Fair Isle? Ooh, it might well be. Oh, it could be. I love the glimpse of it that I'm seeing. Jessica, this is so beautiful. It's so well done. Now, everybody, hold on to your britches because it wasn't the only one we're getting tonight. There's another beauty right behind it. So you said with this one, hold on one second. I'm going to put you on mute for a second and blow my nose. I feel so congested. Hold on one second. Sorry about that. I was in the studio today kicking up a lot of stuff. I think I got a dust thing going on. Melody says, I do a lot of latch. I can do it at night when we are watching TV. I'm doing a 36-inch tree skirt with cardinals and holly. Oh, Melanie, that must be beautiful. Will you send that in for the gallery night later in December when we look at more Christmas stuff? Judy says, Judy, good to see you. The way the snowy trees stand out from the water in the background is really lovely. Let's look at that one more time. Yeah, it's really, yeah. Oh, it really is. And those trees, the one on the right anyway is clipped, right? It has a clipped pile. It looks completely different. Gosh, that is so successful. It's so successful as a piece. It's so charming. You know, you managed to take what is, Jessica, a cute scene with snowmen, like goofing around, right, bumbling around, and you turned it into this piece of high art, right? You are so good. You are so good. So of this one, you said, oh, thanks, Melanie. Don't forget, I would love to see that. Of this one, you said, okay, pretty blessings. So Jessica, is Marlene Troyer, is your mother-in-law, that her brand is Perennial Blessings? Is that right? Sorry, I wanna do that the right way. And this piece, I think, is the second one. It's called A Family Portrait, patterned by your sister-in-law, Lacey Marsh. Also Perennial Blessings. Okay, I'm getting it now. And you wrote, I added the pup who looks like our Lexi. Oh, before realizing I shouldn't add something like that since they were wanting to use it as an example. Oh, I see. I see. I'll probably have to take her out, but I'll let you guys see her first. Well, but it's always so, I think, positive to encourage people to personalize what they're working on. It's very easy to unsee it. It would also be very easy to use paint.net to just take her out. I mean, I could even do that for you, Jessica. I'm sure you can do it. But rather, I mean, I feel like you should keep Lexi in because that's your babe. But you could easily just like take the colors in the back and do that clone stamp, you know what I mean? And fill in the body with exactly the same colors, and nobody would ever know the difference because she looks so pretty there. The hat on the mother is, oh my gosh, is that funny? It is a sweater, Nikki. It is a sweater. It's a bit of applique, so it looks like it's cut out and sewn on carefully, but it is actually a cut sweater. Might even be like a cuff or one of those parts of a sweater that's really difficult to use, right? That is absolutely charming. So this is another pattern by Perennial Blessings, Marlene Troyer. So beautiful, Jessica. Um, um, okay, I had a lot of fun experimenting with these, especially the snowscape textures in the helping hand. There are several new to me techniques in these. Take care. Gallery nights are my favorites. I love to see everyone's beautiful work. Ain't that the truth? Everyone does do such beautiful work. I'm going to stretch this open in just a minute. Let me just take a sip of my drink. Nobody brought me a Band-Aid. Oh, it is a sweater cuff, Jessica. I'm good. Sometimes I'm good. Just because the ribbing, and just because I know I have cut up so many sweaters and hooked with them, but I always end up with because I have a problem with throwing stuff out. Hello, I'm Deanna. It's a big problem. I always keep the cuffs, and I keep parts of the sweater when I do chop shop on sweaters. I have lots of videos on YouTube about chopping up sweaters to use them for hooking. I have lots of videos also on shopping for sweaters and quietly going through the aisles and saying, this sweater is good because, this sweater is not good because, so you know why. There's a why. There's not just like, that one's good and that one's bad and I wish I didn't buy, 9 out of 10 of these. You can figure out before you start hooking what sweaters will be easier to hook with. Without a doubt you can. But I do have a collection of cuffs. I do. You know when I use the cuffs the most? When I'm dyeing, because I'm standing over the pots and I'm always reaching my hand to the ones in the back because it's like 4 burners. And I keep cuffs on my wrists because I always get burnt on the wrist from the steam, like just jumping up at me. So always wear cuffs on we could do wristbands too. But I already have the cuffs, so I just use cuffs when I dye. Sometimes when I have a sweater that has different parts to it, like part of it has a lot of cable knit, and that really isn't usable for hooking. Or part of it has a lot of fair isle, it's very stringy, doesn't want to hook at all, and it's just not worth it for me. Some of those sweaters, I cut off like the whole bottom of the sleeve, like here to here, and then I use them for warmth in the winter just because, I don't always want a ton of clothing on because I'm always menopause hot, but I do like to have my arms covered when I'm working and stuff like that and working on my frame. So you can use so many parts of a sweater, right? Think about it before you throw any of it out, including the buttons and all of that. So case in point right here. I'm going to stretch it out a little bit, but I have to say, I just love that sky. The fill in the sky also is just so pretty. So pretty. Let me just unstretch just a little bit right here. Are we here? No, we are here. Okay, let's do this. I just love the patterning in the sky. That is so Good. It's swirly, but it's not Van Gogh swirly, is it? It's like so decorative. It's really different. Oh, it looks like you did a little applique with the pipe too. That looks like it's sewn on rather than hooked. That is so cute. His little corncob pipe. Aren't they little cuties? He's tall and slim. She's a little bit more round. Uh, Such a beauty. Such a beauty. And there's a little snow babe in the front, all bundled up warm. And it looks like the snow babe is wearing a snow diaper because you see the little safety pin in there. Is that ever cute? Is that ever cute? Lots of pretty materials in this one too. Oh, Marlene is so lucky to have you, Jessica. You do such gorgeous work. Absolutely beautiful pieces. I love all of them. Um, Nikki's asking you, you've been hooking for 2 years. This is your second year, right? Has it even been 2 years? It really is remarkable. Nikki, you're killing it already too. You'll be surprised. Ruth, gosh, I love the stuff that you sent of yours and Richard's. I love stuff that is different. I love the purpose of these. I think you are so clever. Ruth is currently making iPad bags for her great granddaughters. And Ruth, you say, I like making art that is practical and usable. It's a great idea. I use this one for the thumbnail. I just love it. I love the idea that these are for your great granddaughters. It's going to be such a special and personal gift. And you know what they like, right? You know what kinds of things they like. You notice the colors that they dress in and the colors that they decorate in and things like that. You know what they like. The best thing that you can give is something that you make, right? That shows that you've been paying attention and something that they can use and really enjoy that's from you, right? That's the main thing. It's from you. Beautiful hit or miss background here. Lots of shifting of colors, but very limited color palette, and it looks so colorful. I just love these colors. The cat having this sweet, funny face, right? Very cartoony, sweet, who, me kind of a face. I just love the shape. I love the look. It's a super successful silhouette. Love that coral color, that peachy coral. Really, really like that. Ruth says, my son saw my other cats and told me she loves cats, of course. Girls always love cats, and boys usually do too, right? So cute. And Ryan says, graphic and cartoonish. Love the bold lines and the color choices. You know, it's hard to do stuff that has a cartoony element that still looks this artsy. It is hard to do. This is so well done, Ruth. I love the bold outlining. I love the separation between the motif and the background. The background is such a great kind of neutral gray mashup with these boosting, the colors that really pop it, right? They're booster colors. The yellows, the pinks, that corally rose, so good. They're similar in total value, which makes it so interesting. And I can see all of those hearts embedded. It's a very successful piece, Ruth. It's very, very pretty. It looks like you used a sparkle yarn to hook the cat, and it looks like you used a flatter, a yarn in the background. I see in the gray, it's a little bit tweedy. What a great thing to use different kinds of yarns that have different properties. Little bit tweedy, little bit sparkly, right? It's very successful composition. And you have to tell us about giving these as gifts and how your great granddaughters received them and how much they love them. We're going to want to hear that story too. This is another beautiful piece. I'm going to call you, Ruth, the master of grays. Grays are so hard to use because they are the ultimate neutral color, even more neutral than black and white in my mind, because black is black. It punches you in the face, right? It dampens everything around it. It's it absorbs everything. White is the opposite. It's the non-color. Gray is the hardest of the neutrals to use, right? Because it's right in the middle, like literally right in the middle. You are so good at incorporating gray into the compositions, and gray is such a great contemporary color. It has always been a contemporary color. Gray was one of the most popular colors in the 1920s, again in the 1950s, not so much in the 60s and 70s. Once we hit the 80s, I know my wallpaper in my bedroom growing up was gray with butterflies on it. Every X amount of years, we have a sort of a renaissance in the same color palette. Gray hangs in there more than any other color, more than black, more than white, more than brown, more than navy. It's really good to be able to use it, to know where to use it. love the rainbow. I love the sunny rays. I love the landscape. Very graphic feel. It's super contemporary, right? If this were a quilt, people would say, oh, it's a contemporary quilt. It's one of those modern quilts. Very simple lines, very sharp, colors in the right places. That arc, the rainbow arc going around, such unusual colors. And I'm very glad that you didn't go for the low-hanging fruit, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, because this is so much more interesting. This is a full-on Art Deco 1920s, 1930s palette. Gray, white, black, yellow, and then the colors in the rainbow, right? The golden, bronzy colors, the pinks, the whites, the shifting blue, grays, that strong rose, right? You're very good at using that strong rose too. These are basically like my favorite colors in this. Very, very well done. Very contemporary. Really has a sort of edgy, artsy look to it. I like it very much. This would be great for a girl who's a little bit older, right? Because this isn't something that somebody would get tired of and say, oh, I don't like unicorns anymore. I don't like whatever, cats or whatever. This is like for always, right? This is just a beautiful piece. Very well done. Unicorn. Speaking of unicorns, this unicorn is very well done. Here you are with your grays. How are you doing this? This is very smart. Are you doing, Ruth, are you doing any kind of tonal checks for yourself to get the colors this crisp? Because you are absolutely using the right colors in the right places. This is the back of the one with the unicorn. Oh, so this one, I see. This is the front and back. Get it? It's the same colors. Oh my gosh! And there's the unicorn. Totally get it. That makes absolute perfect sense. Oh, so you made two. I was thinking, wow, 4 great grandchildren. There's 2, and it's 2 and 2. I get it. That is so smart. Now, are you doing something? It's for the older one. That makes perfect sense. Your shadows are perfect. I'm wondering if you just have a great visual aid, if you're just really good at figuring this out. It is really hard to get that kind of very crisp, high definition contrast, right? That's high contrast. You can do stuff like this if you have a photograph or drawing. And Ruth says, LOL, I pulled half of the unicorn out to make it work better. Well, trial and error, right? It got you there in the end. You've got some beautiful grays in here too, that nice soft middle gray, like a dove gray. You've got the misty gray in the sky. You've got some blue gray, and you've got some whitish gray. And you've got a little bit of yellow in the wings and in the mane. That's smart, because that's your warm value as opposed to your cool value for this piece. Very smart how you have 2 little pops of that darkest gray value. That's very, very smart. There's all kinds of things that you can do experimenting on the computer. I'm not talking to Ruth, I'm talking to everybody. If you're looking to get this kind of really graphic quality, the opposite of realism, right? Very graphic definition, like poster art, right? Super pop art look. You can scan your pictures, take photos with your phone. There's all kinds of filters and stuff that you can use, and you can change the levels to decide too much, not enough, right? According to your taste and what you're looking for. I know for myself, sometimes I need to play games with my phone or with the computer to figure out where those values are. And I know you can use like the red film card and all of that. There's lots of things that you can use. I also love to go seat of the pants. And Ruth, you're pantsy too. You go seat of the pants and you just do it. And then you say, I need to pull this part out, right? Shows a lot of maturity, which I don't always have myself, to say like, you know what, I'm going to pull it out, I'm going to redo it, I'm not going to destroy it, it's all good, I can fix this. That shows great control and also a great eye. We don't like to pull stuff out as rug hookers, right? But when you have a specific image in mind, and I think particularly when it's a gift, you really want it to be perfect, right? Judy says, "Is there just a tinge of pink?" There is, Ruth, just a tinge of pink in the wings. And Ruth says, "My next one will be a fire-breathing dragon on a wall." Oh wow, I can't wait to see that. I love the fantasy stuff. Kids love this, don't they? And for an older girl, too, this is going to strike her just right. I know it. Now, so this will be, oh, okay, so the other one, that was the cat, right, the close-up of the cat, and this is the corresponding side that we have a cat is it a fox or a cat? This is still a cat, right? With the ball of yarn. Same background with the embedded hearts. That is so smart. Ruth, these are excellent. These are excellent. Yes, it does have some pinks. Judy, good eye with that. It was variegated pink. Well done, Judy. I love this too. I love how you used a little bit of black outlining around the body, but I liked how you used the gray outlining on the ball of yarn. That's really smart because it sets it back just a little bit. All, oh, do I see initials in there, Ruth? Are there initials in there? Or is that my eyes tricking me? I feel like I see P.S. Is that possible? My eyes are not good. Don't take anything according to me. My eyes are not that good. I love the way the front and the back match on both of these pieces. No, it's just shapes. All right, it's just my eyes. I was looking up at the top. Now, this is what you call echo fill, right? Well done. Absolutely. Gives a little bit of iridescence. It does. But I do see hearts, right, Ruth? That's not my eyes. I do see hearts in there. Um, very nice. What a great gift. Both of these. What great. Ruth, do they have any idea, the girls, that you're making them these gifts? They are just too cute. Yes, those are hearts. So the love is embedded in there just as it should be. I love the pinky coral color. Really good. Really nice. They don't know. Okay. Oh, are they going to be surprised? I hope you take some pictures. What little sweethearts. They're going to love those. And I was very happy to see this too. This is my husband Richard working on his bag. It's on linen and it is his design. It is his own design from a cartoon he drew in high school. We both just started this year. He is turning 74 on the 27th. Almost, Richard. I'm not going to say it yet because we'll see you before then, but almost. Oh, wow. This makes me so happy. We do not see enough men hooking, and it is so relaxing. It is so creative. There is such a lot of room in this craft for originality, for your personal stamp. Go Rich, that's right. This is just, oh, Linda, great to see you. This is just beautiful. I love this character. It's so great that it was taken from a cartoon, like a comic in high school. It's so great that the dog, does the dog have a name? It's so great that it didn't just like fall by the wayside, never to be mentioned again. The colors are phenomenally great. I absolutely love the design. I love the colors. I mean, this is just great. This is just great. I love the character. I love the beret. It's so charming. It's funny. It's cartoony. And I love the black outlining and then the swirling colors in the background has a little bit of a tie-dye feel for me. Judy says, amazing color transition. So true. Ryan says, well, you and Richard have garnered a big fan in me. There you go. The pop of it all. So cute. Yeah, Ryan, you love this graphic style as well, as do I. I love the graphic style. I love realism, but I prefer seeing graphic work because I just feel like the decisions that you make when you do graphic work are I'm for a person who's not technical, I'm always very interested in the thought process and what got a piece from point A to point B. I know that this was a cartoon that was drawn in high school, and that's all that I know so far. But I know it's an original drawing. I can see from the color shifts, right, what Richard's taste is, which is great. Love these colors. I love these colors. Jewel colors with this really great pop of orangey red. Orangey red is probably the most powerful color, right? The poison color of all time, honestly, because the colors in the background, like the swirl of colors, the teal, the purple, all of the transition colors in between, the magenta, those are all cool colors. And then that red comes along and it's the ultimate like warm pop. It's so it so stands out. It's a great color palette. Oh, Sharon, great to see you. Wonderful. Go Richard. Love the colors. Me too. I love the colors. I love the character. I would love to see more of this character. It's just fantastic. Really, 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 really well done. I love all these pieces. I'm so happy that you found something that you both like doing and can be together and be working on projects and when you're around someone someone special who is also doing the same thing. You get the chance to have these conversations that are specific because, it's not like all of your friends that you just initiate a conversation about whether this yarn is the right yarn or that yarn. It's not for everybody, right? It's not talk that's for everybody. But it's nice to have people who are close to you working in the same craft because it makes sense to have these conversations and to be able to help each other along and give opinions that are a little more educated because you do it too. I think that's so great. I'm so happy for you both. You're doing such beautiful work and you're doing original work. And that makes my heart so happy. I love seeing original projects and you're both doing beautiful work. Um, and Judy says, "Tell Richard we want to read the comic now." I absolutely agree. See if he wants to put it into Magpie Times. Sharon says, "Wonderful, go Richard." And Judy says, "Yep." And he laughed. Oh, that's great. Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Beautiful pieces. Beautiful pieces all. All right, I'm going to keep going. And Colleen. Oh, shoot. I wanted to bring you mine. All right. Um, Oh shoot! I'm gonna see if someone comes, and then I'm gonna ask for it. So Colleen, my great buddy Colleen Tiefenthal of Beech Nut Studio, that is her brand. Nikki says the family that crafts together stays together. Absolutely, it's great having these things in common. It really is. It's such a big deal. Colleen is amazing. She's such a great person. Her brand is great. She's on the Tigger board with me. She's working on this project I'm going to tell you about now. She says, "I'm working on St. Mary's County. This is one of 23 counties that make up the state of Maryland. It is part of a collaborative project called the Maryland Counties Project that will showcase the work of 17 fiber artists and educate about the state, each county's unique attributes, and the art of rug hooking. It will be on tour beginning in June of 2025. Now, isn't that, I know, the only person I hear coming towards me is Buttons the dog. He's not going to get the thing for me, is he? I'll grab it before the end of the show. Help remind me because she sent me my piece. So I'm one of the people who's working on one of the counties. I haven't opened it yet. So it's still on the mail table with all the Thanksgiving stuff. I need to open it. I was going to open it on air and I forgot, but I will show you my county later. And I was very excited and proud to be asked to be one of the artists. It's me who does this, right? I won't be the best one, that's for sure, but I will love doing it in my own style and a little bit, and I will love seeing this exhibit go up and travel, and I will certainly be covering that for you. I think it's a great idea. I think it's a great idea for anybody, right? Colleen's doing it in Maryland. There's quite a few other states. Isn't that a great idea? Great for teaching kids and stuff too, and great for outreach, get people interested in rug hooking. I'm very excited about this. Ruth said, you and Richard just joined the Rug Hooking Guild, your local guild. That's great. Ruth, remind me, where are you? What part of the country are you? Oh, I'm so glad. Isn't that great? Thanks, Nikki. I love promoting people's stuff. It's like I just love it. I could talk about rugs all, and I want to stop saying rugs. I'm serious about this because I think the main reason people don't do this craft is because they think we're all making rugs and they're thinking they're all huge and they're just never going to finish theirs. I'm just thinking this is something we've been talking about on and off for 4 years. Hooked tapestry, hooked. What else could we start saying that would signal to people that we're doing some rugs, but we're not doing all rugs. We're making stuff for the wall. I associate tapestries with weaving. That's the problem. But does everybody? And could it change over time? Because when people um, see me hooking, like I went to the trampoline park one other time. It might have been it was before I saw you, but a guy came up to me and he was from Greece, and he said, "Oh, my mom used to do that." And I was thinking, I don't think it was this that she was doing. She might have been doing latch hook, but I think just the fact that he saw me sitting working on a craft, that he thought it was the same thing, right? In his memory, it was the same thing. Um, People just don't know, right? They just don't know. So maybe it is possible to shift the language a little bit. LOL, not. What did you say? Um, um, oh, I missed something funny. Springfield, Missouri. Oh, okay, great. Ruth, let us know how it goes out there. I bet that's a lovely chapter. The Ozark Mountain rug hookers teacher. Okay, great. That sounds like a great chapter. Is that a Pearl McGowan chapter or an Atha chapter? I'm just curious. Maybe it's neither. It doesn't have to be either one. That's exciting. And Ryan says, I need to look into North Texas, Texas in general, guilds and clubs, rug makers unite. Yeah, man, they would love you, Ryan. You would find a warm welcome, I'm sure. I know, Ruth. I know. Ozark Mountain rug hookers, very nice. Maybe hooked mosaic. I like that too. I like that connection to all of the different pieces. Asha, Asha, Atha. Yes, gotcha. It's me. It's me. It's not you, Ruth. It's me. Atha. That must be a great guild. Oh, can't wait to hear more. I'm so glad. Joining up is a great thing. I'm going to try to make it to a lot more meetings in person in 2025. I really am. Absolutely beautiful, Colleen. Susan, you sent in a beautiful piece too. This is turkey and tallow berries from Not Forgotten Farm. Oh, that is one of my favorite design houses. Turkey and tallow berries. I don't know tallow berries. I wonder if we have them in New England. They're obviously white berries. I just love the name tallow berries. That's so good. Punch needle turned. Um, oh, I see. Very good. Okay, so punch, Susan, this is smart. Punch needle turned, hooked approximately 26 by 26 with added word at bottom. Heart was voted out by all. Yep. Okay, I see what you mean. Well, I rather like the heart, but I get it. It's maybe a more a less kind of country looking piece without the heart. I know that script is crazy, isn't it, Nikki? That's crazy. And the color changes in it are beautiful, beautiful too. Really well done. And you see how it goes when you hook the script. It's really important to get the loops around it pretty fast before you lose track of what the letters are supposed to look like, right? It is looking really good. If you shore it up as you go along, really good. Ryan says the color choices for the turkey are so fresh, fun, and different while still holding on to the autumn feel. I couldn't have said it better myself. That's perfect. It really is. It has that bold black background. It's a traditional piece, but yes, his body is like a light robin's egg color, right? Robin egg blue. And then the mustard yellow, ooh, it's like honey Dijon. That's going to go good with it. No, I'm not thinking of them in terms of eating them, but very unusual colors. I love the head, the neck, the googly, Marty Feldman eyeball, right? Love that. I love the tail that comes down like a rainbow, right? Little relaxed turkey tail. All those beautiful colors. Ryan, you hit the nail on the head. It's so beautiful. The colors of green in the background, too. Again, go toward that bronze green. That's a cushion color. The bronze green is a brownie green with like a hint of ochre in it. It's very unusual. Lots of traditional colors in here, but lots of unexpected colors. Don't you love the speckling or the freckling on the chest? That is just stunning. It's a stunning piece. So this looks like it's linen. It's probably a much larger piece. Oh, 26 by 26. That's large. That's large. I can tell by I can't focus on the weave, so it must be large, right? Really beautiful color placement, and I agree. Um, I think the heart takes away from it somehow. I like it just the way it is at this moment. I think Thanksgiving is great. Now you added the word Thanksgiving. And yeah, I think for that reason, I think that's a much better call. You've personalized it in a way that is perfect for you, Susan. This is perfect. It's perfect for me too. I like it with Thanksgiving written on it. It's different. It's got a little bit of bling and the opportunity to use more colors. Oh, can you do me a favor? I hear someone walking. That's not a dog. Um, I love it. I love it. And I think that's a good call about the heart. Nope, they went away. Didn't hear me. Oh boy. Nikki says the trees are nice too. They are. They are. There's such big tallow berries that whether it's a branch or a tree, I'm not. Can you hear me? Why can nobody ever hear me? It's so strange. Everybody in this house needs a giant Q-tip. They're so large in terms of scale, proportionally next to the turkey, that they seem like Jack and the Beanstalk tallow berries. Absolutely love them. Turkey and tallow berries. Susan, this is just beautiful. Oh, Melissa, you always send something that tugs on the heartstrings. I just love this. Melissa writes, "Good evening, Deanna. These images show my progression from a tiny photograph through to the finished product. I love it when that happens. It is a Christmas gift for my brother. The picture was one my mom took of us when we were almost two, when I was almost two and my brother was 4 years old. It was an early snowfall, and she included this pic in her Christmas time cards that year, circa 1969. Hope you had a lovely Thanksgiving. I did, Melissa. Thank you. Okay, I love this. So we're seeing first the original photograph on the fridge, right? Beautiful kind of Polaroid type, not Polaroid, but we have those two with the white border. You know, I loved those photos because remember how it always had the date on it? And then they stopped doing that later, and it's like, what are we sliding backwards? Like, you never know. You take out photos and you go, oh, is this 2 summers ago or 5 summers ago? I used to love it when they put the date on there. That was so good. And you blew it up so you can see much better like this. This makes a lot of sense. You blew it up much bigger, and you've really got something to work with now. And then it brings us to the finished product, which is so beautiful. I love this style, coming back to the conversation on the Canadian style, right? We say the Dion Fitzpatrick style, but I don't think that that's fair, right? There's a lot of people who are in the business who do the anonymous face, no expression at all. It has become synonymous with Dion Fitzpatrick, but also in my mind, just it's a Canadian style, and we can certainly borrow on that. It's a beautiful. Can you hear me, Aryan?
Yeah.
Please come. God, it worked. It worked. I'm holding a paper cup with a string attached to it. Just kidding. Can you bring that piece of mail that's on the mail table out there, like that blue package? I just love the simplicity of the shot. I love the two little figures paused in play, holding for the camera, um, waiting for the photo to be done, right? And you are both happy in the photo too. I mean, you're both smiling and happy in the photo, having a good old time out there in the backyard, right? Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, just love this piece. I just love it. I just have to look at the original one more time. Yeah, it is a night scene, isn't it? It looks like a night scene anyway, or at least it's getting there. You can really see the direction of her arm, an arm with slight motion. Oh, that's a good catch, Nikki. Yeah, that's a good catch. I like that. And also the brother, right? I mean, just like the pose. The poses, I'm sorry, probably making you sick, I'm sorry, are right on, right? They're just right on. The character is there for both children. And I think that's probably the thing that's so special, right? Is that you recognize the character um, and you remember, right? I mean, I remember I could point my sister out from Colleen. I could point my sister out in any of those photos from the era. I mean, I'm almost 7 years older than her, and pictures of her at her preschool graduation, like all the things she did with like, all the other little kids around. I can always point her out just because of her stature, the way that she walked. You know what I mean? Those things are hard to capture in fiber art because they're very elusive, right? Because we're not. Melissa's not hooking in a super realistic style, so it makes it all the harder to catch those little nuances. But super, super well done, Melissa. I love that piece. Your brother is going to love that piece, isn't he? I just want to open this and show you, going along with the project that Colleen's working on. Kathleen, I think you're on deck. You're coming up soon. Let's see. She is such a sweetie. I just love Colleen so much. With the whole Tigger board, I made a point of choosing people to work with on the board who I really love and trust, right? Because that matters a lot. That matters a lot. Loving the people who you are spending time with, making my eye just started twitching, thinking about people in the past who I have not loved working with. Colleen, I love dearly. All right, so she sent me, oh, I see. She's so good. She sent me a bunch of this stuff for, like, it's a kit essentially. Oh, isn't that pretty? The dock, the cloud. I'll show you the image. The sky. Look at all these pretty bags. Black, the flagpole. Black must be for outlining. The blue for area A. Ferris wheel. Water. Oh, I got a Ferris wheel. I'm excited about the Ferris wheel. Isn't it amazing that she came up with the idea of doing this project for the state of Maryland, right? To talk about the history of the different counties and all of the attributes of the different counties. She came up with this idea She came up with a pattern. She divided it out. She asked friends to do it. Um, yeah, and she's got all of the written stuff. I mean, she's amazing. I love her so much. And what a ding dong. She sent a bag for me to send it back. I would have sent it back. Come on, Colleen, you're spending too much money, you silly. All right. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. My county is Prince George's County. Isn't this gorgeous? Look at this. That's my county. Like this, right? Oh, it's got the flag and the Ferris wheel. I love it. It's just a little sliver of a county. And you know, I'm such a jerk because when we were talking about it, I was like, oh, I really want to do it. I'm so busy. I'm so afraid I'm not going to get it done. I really want to do it. And I'm such a jerk. And she kept saying, um, it's a fairly small project and it's not due until the spring, but she's always so sweet. I don't want to stress you out, whatever. I almost didn't do it because I'm that much of a jerk. And I would have missed being part of this amazing project and hooking this amazing piece. I can't wait to hook it. Honestly, I just can't wait to hook it. And I'm going to be so proud to be part of this project. So, happy ending. Dee, good to see you. You got a bird. You're working on the project too. She knows they freak you out. Oh no, I got a Ferris wheel. She knows I love amusement parks. I only ride the Ferris wheel. Oh, I'm so excited. So excited. I have to send you a message because I'm heading down your way next weekend. I wanted to ask you what the Yankee swap was because if I'm supposed to bring a gift, I want to bring a gift. I want to do everything right. I'll write to you after the show. Nikki, you're in Virginia. Oh, fun. You're right down there. Oh, great. Yep. So there's a lot of action down there. That's for sure. There's a lot of great hookers down there, without a doubt. Yeah, I want to talk about this project more. I'm just filling out my thing. It's completely Colleen's project, but I want to talk to her about it more too. I think it's going to be a great thing to watch this project evolve and see it tour. Nikki, you're definitely going to be able to see it. It's going to be somewhere that's near you. And certainly I'll plan something, or Dee, maybe you'll plan something and I'll hitch along. And we'll let everybody know when it's time to go look at the exhibit. Nikki, I hope that you could be there too and we can all be together because it'd be great to see this. What a great moment that'll be for Colleen, for everybody, right? But what a thing. What a thing to take on a project that is that vast and huge. And she's obviously very organized, which is hard to relate to. But it's one of the million things I love about her. Candace, you are working on some super festive fun stuff right here. The first image, I designed these as the size of placemats. Okay. I'm punching them. The finished one is in traditional colors, and the one behind is bright mid-century colors. Ooh, I dyed all the mid-century yarn myself. Ooh, okay, we'll take a look at that one separately. Now they're coming along quite differently, aren't they? Same composition, very different because the color palettes are so different. Oh, Melanie, you got Fredericks County. How fun. A bunch of us are doing it. Ooh, how fun. Oh, Nikki, we'll get together for sure. We're going to make it work. Oh, that is just amazing. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. And you know, I always want to say it, I don't say it enough. If you're working on a project, if it's a local project, whatever, and you want me to spread the word or give a shout out, if you need some help with something or you need someone to help with a project that you're doing that's local, I'll shout it out. It doesn't have to be something related to ribbon candy hooking. That's why the show is here, so we can shout out all kinds of stuff so we all know what everyone else is doing and where there needs to be extra hands or extra help or whatever. So make sure you keep me updated on fairs and events, projects, and absolutely whether you need help with something. I'm always happy to jump in there. So this is the one that is done in the more primitive type colors, the traditional colors, not primitive, traditional colors, and so beautifully done. Beautiful gray background, kind of a mixy gray, isn't it? Like a kind of marbly white and light gray. And then the darker gray is present in the ornaments. Really, really interesting color choices because it's such a strong color palette and it's such a Christmas motif. It really works well. There's a lot of drama in this piece. It's very, very pretty. Let's look at, I think the second one is in here too. I want to look at that one separately. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, no, it's not. Okay, so let's come back here. I'm going to, Candace, you are still working on this piece. So make sure you send us. So I absolutely love this one. I love the colors and I love the design. And you are punching these, right? So she's working from behind. Let me just stretch this one a little bit. And Candace, I will say, please send it as you work on it a little bit more so we can look at it, the one in the mid-century colors, so we can look at it later in December when we do an all Christmas show. Just love it. I just love the colors. You did some beautiful stuff with colors. Um, I'm looking at some of those colors and thinking, ooh, I wonder if that's Dharma's lime pop, and I wonder if the pink is Cushing's flower power pink. Super looks like it. The blue looks to me like robin's egg blue from Dharma again. Beautiful color. But you dyed all these. You might have done some mixy mixes. Those are beautiful colors. I love that palette. Couldn't be more different than the one in the more traditional color palette. And yeah, isn't that? I'm catching up on the thread. Isn't that fun to see a same pattern done in two such different ways? So blingy, Candace. I can't wait to see more. I absolutely love that piece. This is another piece you're working on. This is Saint Nick and Sheep by Tish Murphy. I'm punching it also and like the back more than the front. Okay, well, that definitely happens. Happy Thanksgiving to you too. Yeah, you know what? When you're working on something that's punched, it is really common these days. We have sort of talked this through. Everybody in the rug hooking community has. So many people have said, "I like the working side better than the correct side or the finished side. I like the working side." And since it's your piece, you always get to choose. When you like the working side better, you should stick with the working side. This is a fiber art. The fiber is your medium, right? However you paint it, I'm gonna be careful about that because that's copyrighted now. However you paint it is your choice, right? It has to be exactly the way that you want it. This piece is just, so this side, right, just to get a feel for what we're saying, right? This is the finished side. This is the correct side, punching it, right? So this is not the working side. This would be traditionally the finished side, but hey, this is the working side. And I can see what she means. There's no pile, right? There's no height. So it's clearer. It has a more illustrative quality to it. Oh, Candace, you're using the needle nanny from the Haunted Rug Book Party swag bag. That was a mouthful. Oh, I'm so glad you're using it. Isn't it strong? I can see it's strong because it's holding your flat scissors. Ooh, your bent scissors. Oh, that's awesome. I'm so happy you're using that. I love those. I have lots more of those. I should put them on this site. I'm busy with making lots of needle nannies lately, and it is a lot of fun. Dee says I love both sides, and I love both sides too. One is more traditional, right? This is more traditional to a rug hooking, traditional punch needle eye because we do expect to see a little bit of pixelation because of the height of the pile. But when you're not having any pile, it is a lot flatter. You are just seeing the lines, right? They are both beautiful and they're very different. So it's apples and oranges. It's not even apples and apples, is it? They're completely different looks. And I do love these Tish Murphy. I love these designs because it's like the traditional kind of old world European Santas, not the Coca-Cola Santa, which is my favorite. It's my favorite. But I do love seeing the old world Santas too. They do have such a sort of great kind of vintage feel to them. And with the sheep, no less. We love to see sheep in rug hooking, don't we? These are just beautiful, Candace. Keep us updated on both of these projects because it will be fun to look at them both when we hit our next gallery night. Now, Dave, you said something interesting. As usual, you said something interesting. I love it. You always find something cool to share with us. And I feel like I missed my chance to be in Toronto earlier this year. It was like a deal breaker. Every minute was a deal breaker on that trip. It was so busy. But I will be up again in 2025. But I love it when you take us places. That's the tour guide in you, right? You love showing places that are cool and fun and different. And you wrote, "Hi, Deanna. I hope you're having a great Thanksgiving in Concord." Thank you. I really was. The other bad thing about not being in Concord for a little bit later in the season, like Thanksgiving is too early to go to the Louise May Alcott house and expect to see Christmas decorations. It's like not time yet. So I didn't think about that. Like there was some Christmas stuff in stores, but I was ready to hit it hard with like shopping, and I did. I bought a bunch of gifts, but it wasn't quite time yet. Bummer. Sharon says, just love the look of the vintage Santa. Looks great on both sides. Exactly. It's going to be hard to choose, isn't it? You have to go with what your gut says. You really do. You have to be true to yourself. Oh, let me read this first. So, Dave, you sent something really, really interesting for us to look at. Back in September, you went to an exhibit at the Royal Ontario Museum on 19th century quilts of Canada. Within the exhibit were metal stencils from Edward Sands Frost. That's really exciting. I have not seen those in person, but from Edward Sands Frost, I excitedly went on at length about them. My poor friend was trying to take it in as I prattled on about them, poor thing. According to the signage, additional tin stencils of his are on display at Greenfield Village in Dearborn, Michigan. Yes. So that used to be called the Henry Ford Museum. Is that not called the Henry Ford Museum anymore? Am I like really out of date with that? Because I'm thinking it's the same place, but that the name has changed. Does anybody know? Yes, to my knowledge, they have all of them. Well, not the ones that were displayed here, maybe, but they have them all stacked. You can see on their website, they're like in these little, kind of like mail cubbies, like for mail, like almost like a post box, like hundreds of them. Nikki says, I was in Montreal in June. I went to an amazing museum, Pointe Callière. It was the best exhibit. Oh, sounds amazing. I would love to go to Montreal too. I haven't done that for years. I would love to do that. This is amazing. Dave, we understand why you had to shoot your mouth off and drive people crazy with the Edward Sands Frost talk. We absolutely understand. I would have done the same. However, I took a picture and now I have an opportunity to share it. Applied, and this is better than the pictures that they have at the Henry Ford Museum because we're only seeing them from the side. This is like the best photo I've ever seen of the stencils. Applied learning in action. Exactly. Not sure if I'll be able to watch live. Well, you are there. I'm so glad you made it, but certainly will rewatch. Good energy your way. Thanks, Dave. All right, let's see. So, okay, so this exhibit would have slayed me. Like I would have just been lying diagonally on the ground, like blocking traffic. Reuse and remake. I mean, this is exciting. So we're talking about quilting, right? The backbone of the exhibit sounds like it's quilting, but it's great that there's some crossover to rug making, specifically rug hooking, with the Edward Sands Frost patterns. And so we're seeing part of the exhibit here. I mean, these. I'm just going to open this up a little bit. I love to see these older quilts. These are certainly 19th century quilts. These are just beautiful. They're just beautiful. And these are on the left we're seeing a child's garment, and on the right we're seeing a woman's body or bodice. And I love the way they've color coordinated them. And it also gives us a great sort of feel for the scale. The scale is massive. They are so well done. It's just outrageous. I mean, aren't they gorgeous quilts? I like the exhibition wall color too. I think that's really effective. I'll just say while we're looking at these for a second, for those of you who are new to rug hooking, Edward Sands Frost was a sort of Civil War era character from Maine. He was a tin peddler who noticed that women were really struggling in making their hook drugs from household to household. Some were very good and natural artists, and others really struggled with doing original designing. And he thought, for him, him being a tin peddler, he thought to himself, and him fancying himself, here are the stencils right here. The metal ones are the Sands Frost stencils because they're going to be tin, I would think. And then the two parts of the, what's that, wedding ring pattern, the two shapes on top, that's for quilting, so different. In any case, he thought with the scrap, his leftover metal scraps, that he could do some stencils that he could sell to people who could trace them onto backing, and they would at least have forms to trace, right? So they could buy the stencils and say, okay, I'm going to put like flowers here and a three whatever clover here. At least they had a starting point, and that starting point, that leg up, was enough to make a lot of women feel comfortable and confident enough to be able to do their own designing because there were not commercial patterns yet. He arguably, between him and Garrett Bluenose, there's quite a few people at the same time who will be designing patterns, and it is really hard to know who's the first. And in my mind, it doesn't matter. But he did end up designing some patterns himself using his stencils, and he took it a step further and started coloring them, right? So he colored them with like paint. Um, Really, really interesting person. He ended up moving out to California for health reasons, but he really got things going because this is a symbol of, these stencils are a symbol of the first semi-commercial patterns, at least in the US. I mean, not having the full pattern drawn out, right? It's not completely a commercial pattern, but just the idea that you could do the same thing twice exactly is remarkable. I really, if you were going to pick one, which one would you pick? I have to play this game. I like the tulip and I like the flower under the tulip the most. I would take any of these. I would take any of these. But man, wouldn't you love to have a few of these little doodlers and put them into a nice shadow box frame? Just to remember where this craft started, how it got its start, how people struggled so much with having a nice design and something nice to work on that they could be proud of when their friends came to visit, to where we are now with having videos and talking about designing and designing things live together and being able to buy patterns that are already done. Amazing, isn't it? This is a beautiful exhibit, Dave. I so wish that I was here. I love seeing this is like paper piecing stuff, English paper piecing, and how people design stuff, lay stuff out. You know, you have quilt pieces, but they can be laid out often in lots of different configurations, right, to make different blocks. So on the right, I think that's churn and dash. I might be wrong. But, you know, if you placed those shapes, and I think there's kids' games that work like this, in Compass Rose, I think over on the left, you know, if you move the pieces around, you do get altogether different shapes. And hey, if it fits inside a square, you've got a new quilt block, right? So interesting. It is how it works. It is interesting to see how patterns are created, how repeat patterns are created. Wow. Wow. That's crazy. That is just stunning. You know, it really, I love this thing of putting a piece of clothing that really coordinates with the quilt together. It does so much. It does more than show us the color. Again, it really puts you in the place in the time, right? This is obviously very early 19th, 20th century. Sorry, 19th century. It's like 1820s, right? I mean, this is like a Jane Austen style um, costume. Yeah, it is beautiful, Nikki. It is so big. Seems like it's bigger than a bed, doesn't it? I mean, unless that child is an infant, which is entirely possible, um, that's a big bed. Of course, in this day, at this time, it could be that many family members slept in the same bed, like several. And even beds in taverns. Like while I was away for Thanksgiving, there was, you know, we stay at the Colonial Inn in Concord, which I love, but we always go to the Wayside Inn in Sudbury, Massachusetts, which is like 25 minutes, half an hour away. And that's Longfellow's Wayside Inn, right? The poet Longfellow, where he wrote Tales of a Wayside Inn. That's one of those stagecoach inns where, you know, it's hard for us to imagine because I think we think of the olden days as being very everybody being very uptight and conservative and all of that. We know there's an alarmingly high number of young women in the 1700s who are pregnant before they're married. Like that's a fact. But you know, at these coach stops, if you stopped and you needed to stay for the night and you needed to sleep in a bed, you would sleep with your clothes on. But you might if you're by yourself, right? Or if there's just no other space, you would be sleeping with strangers in a bed with strangers with your clothes on, right? But in a bed with strangers, like a bunch of them. So, I mean, nobody thought anything of that. I mean, it's changed, right? Our idea of modesty and privacy has changed over the years because privacy is a luxury, right? It's not a given, it's a luxury. But over the years, that has changed hugely. And yeah, it's funny to think about this time. It could be that this is a child. It could be that this was just an enormous bed. Um, oh, Melanie, you're right. It is all done in tulips. Yeah, that is beautiful. So it's like, Melanie, do you know if this particular design has a name? I see the flying geese around the border. I totally see the tulips now you say it. That is really, really pretty. Quilts and samplers are things I want us to get into more in the new year. Oh boy, we got a bunch more to do. I gotta hit it. Let's go. All right. Yeah, to be continued. To be continued. Catherine, you sent something interesting and different too, as you always do. Catherine, happy Friday night, my love. I have no idea if this is a correct way to submit. You did great. You did great submitting this. This worked great. It was actually a very high quality photo, so it was perfect. But you did great. Let me know if it doesn't work. Worked perfect. So photo A. So this is photo A. This pattern is from Rug Crafter, right? That's the brand that the other Ryan, right? That's that Ryan Richards loves to do those vintage patterns in our Facebook group, Rug Crafters, titled Roadrunner. Yeah, I recognize this one because this is a fairly well-known one. It measures 43 by 18. It's on burlap. It is meant for speed tufting, and all I have is a hook. Well, that's okay. That's going to work fine. The foundation is not brittle, and it is easy to hook. I'm thinking this pattern is from the 1970s. Yeah, I think so too. I would say late 60s. I would say it could be 60s or 70s. It's right in there. The colors are 70s, but to me, the design looks earlier. So this looks like 1950s design to me, to be honest. So it could be a 60s pattern for sure. The colors are bringing us to the 70s, but these colors were in fashion for longer than the Brady Bunch years. So hard to tell. I bet you Ryan would know though. Um, so what I first want to pause and say, what a beautiful piece. Now, when you do find these older patterns, right? They typically do not come with colors because you were meant to buy the colors separately. You bought the pattern was like shrink wrapped. That's how it went. Oh, Melanie, that was called turned tulips. It was nice. It was almost like a windmill, right? Really pretty. He's so graphic. Yeah, he is very. The woodpecker is the roadrunner. I'm sorry, is very graphic. Yep. Yes, Ruth. It's a roadrunner. This pattern you will find on eBay. Maybe not all the time, but often. Um, it's absolutely beautiful, isn't it? We're going to look at some more, a little bit more, but I just want to look at the colors. Now, the deal in the game with patterns at this time and all of the ones that came before it was they didn't sell you the kit, but they suggested the color scheme, right? So they're doing it here and saying, I would go for black, Navajo white, which is different than regular white, yellow, orange, sienna. In this case, bronze green, we've been talking about bronze green a lot. In this case, they're using fairly generic names for colors. That's very kind because some companies didn't. Some companies would have crazy names like, I don't know, like Fort Myers blue or whatever, or whatever. So, and you'd be like, well, what color blue is that, And it was on purpose so that you had to buy the colors. Otherwise, you were not going to get the same effect. You really, to know that your colors were going to be successful when you spent time and money on this thing, you really had to stick with what they were offering because the names didn't translate. So Rug Crafters was kind to give names that would, you could go into a store and say, hey, listen, I need 3 skeins of black. I need 2 skeins of white, right? And you would be understood. So interesting. Now, see, this is fantastic. Catherine, this is fantastic. You're using the piece. You already said, you know what? It's not brittle. I'm not afraid I'm going to bust a hole through it. And usually you don't. Of all the times that Ryan does these huge, huge pieces, I'm talking like 8-foot, 10-foot pieces on these frames that he makes at home, he uses that speed tufter, which is very aggressive. Bless you. Very aggressive as a tool. And rarely does he punch a hole in anything. I mean, he can go many projects. He's been working on the wedding project for a while. He can go many projects without punching a hole, right? So this material is strong. And Catherine, if you're saying looks good to me, doesn't feel brittle, if it was splitting, it would be splitting on the seams because it's been packaged for a long time. If it's not splitting on the seams, you are golden. And if you're hooking it, right, you just be careful at the seams. I wouldn't press it or do anything with heat. Just as you're doing, take it out, unfold it, get it onto a frame, start hooking it. The hook is a lot more gentle than any kind of a speed tufter. It's absolutely beautiful. And Catherine says, of course I'm not following the color scheme suggested by Rug Crafter, right? Because this is years have gone by, right? So those materials are not going to be easily available anymore anyway. Below the Roadrunner are several rocks scattered, and they're marked with capital letters. I chose to use clay and paint to make the rocks. Ooh, ooh, and I think we're going to see some close-ups of that. The most prominent one is at the lower right corner. I'm going to show you that. The clay rock is attached with wool through the holes in the clay and tied almost like a button and tied on the back. Perfect. I hope it's acceptable to use knots since it's a wall hanging and not a jack tripper. No, that is absolutely fine. You know, you're not going to trip on. You're not going to do a jack tripper. You know what? Let me. I love it. I love it. Let me stretch this one open a little bit. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Come over here, you. And let's see. I think this is really smart. You know, there are rocks there, and instead of struggling with what colors they're supposed to be, you are doing the clay. You are putting down the clay rocks, and they are three-dimensional. Absolutely beautiful. Ruth agrees, and Ruth likes these colors better. I do too, right? It's not that very, very striking mid-century palette. It's not. It's something that's a little bit easier to look at, and I think it's more nuanced. I think it has a lot of interest. You've got a lot of color play happening here. It's a very smart color palette, and I really love the addition of these three-dimensional pieces that literally fit perfectly into this. They fit perfectly. You did a great job here. I hope you're super proud. I think I have another image. Hold on. I hope you're super proud of this. This is really something. I just love it. Now you can see the material is a little bit different. It is a woven. It is not, it's not actually burlap. It's more akin to a rug warp, the way that it's woven. But it's the color of burlap. It is more sort of dry feeling. It's not soft. It's not especially brittle. It is a machine-made fabric. It's a very tight machine-made woven. But any woven you can hook into, right? Because the very nature of something being a woven means that there's gaps, right, where the material, in between where the materials are connecting to each other, there's little window pane gaps that are vulnerable and easy to put a hook through. Now, a backing like this, I mean, you can imagine if you can put a speed tufter into this backing without making it rip. A speed tufter, let's say, is like a pencil, is like a large pencil. Whereas a rug hook, in comparison, even a large one, would be more like a toothpick next to it, right? So, I mean, yeah, you're going much easier on the piece. The piece is going to do very, very well. Oh, oh, and there's a buddy sleeping on it. You know, you didn't say the buddy's name. Is it? I was gonna say, is it Ozzy? I don't think it's. I don't think it's Ozzy. I think that might be an Ozzy. Is that an Ozzy collar? Yes, that's an Ozzy collar. That is too funny. What a sweet, soft buddy. That little body, huh? You know, look at the Roadrunner compared to the pup. Like this is really. I know 46 is a big piece. It really is a big piece, isn't it? Really beautiful. Catherine, you're killing it. Absolutely beautiful. Kathleen, oh, the queen of primitive. I love this Santa. I love all of your work. I love this Santa. You say this smaller piece, Santa is being a little bit non-traditional. You know, this is you though, Kathleen, isn't it? You always do. You do primitives, right? You love to do primitives. You are so good at hooking primitive style, but you always do something a little bit different with the colors. If somebody showed me this piece and said, "Can you guess who hooked this?" I'd say, "I'm guessing that because the colors are unusual, I'm guessing that it's my friend Kathleen," and it is you, right? You're always doing something very, very different with the color palette to shake things up. I love the purple frock. You know, it's very royal, very regal, and I love the kind of the sack and the army color. You are mixing it up big time, and it's working so well. You know, we know who this is, right? We know who the jolly man is with the sack. We know you can take great liberties with a character like a Santa character like this because we definitely are gonna be able to figure it out. He's just in one of his different outfits, and it looks so festive. It's really smart. You're getting lots and lots of compliments. I hope that you're still on. Yeah, Gail, the purple and a little bit of light on the arm, right, and a little bit on the top of his hat. Do you notice the way that the hat swirls down and then almost like a circle, right? Almost like a spiral, the arm swirls up and it makes, it gives continuity to that shape. It's very, very clever the way that's done. That big, heavy border on his purple frock is really great. Nikki, army green is your jam. Army green is another color that like passes as a neutral. It's we see it as a neutral. It's a great color to use in many types of compositions because it's very solid, right? It holds your eye. It's more interesting than to me, for example, black. And it couldn't be black because the background's black. I think I see the flecks of the door sparkle wool in there too. I love the black sky on this and the stars. It looks like one of the stars is hooked and the others are sewn on. And the curls, right, the sheep curls for the beard, that's not roving, that's not wool bat, that's sheep curls, right? You can hook those guys. They come out great hooked, really great. Super silhouette, really effective pattern. It is absolutely gorgeous. And Kathleen says, at Christmas, he'll make his way to Vermont as a present for my daughter. Oh man, is that great? What a gift. And okay, I'm going to show you the other piece that Kathleen did. What a nice Santa. Such a different. Ooh, Nikki, it may be blue in the background. Now you got me wondering. Let me see. Hold on. Let's go for a ride again. Let's see. You know, it looks like it's antique black. It might be blue. It might be blue. Antique black is not solid. It's got like some lights and darks in it. And it definitely has different values. It comes and it goes. It's like a mottled. Is it sheep or mohair? I think it's sheep curls. I'm pretty sure it's sheep curls. Because mohair, unless I mean, I might be wrong, but mohair is still like a refined yarn. It's twisted and it's very, very, very thin. But I don't see how you could do curls with mohair. I think these are actual sheep curls. And lately at fiber festivals and stuff, they've been selling sheep curls in every color, any color you can name, because they're dyed the same way. And it creates another really interesting fiber for us to consider using in our projects. It's very different, really good effect. And this is certainly the right place to use it, right? And this is the other, oh, my screen is jumping all around tonight. This is the other piece that Kathleen is working on. Another great Santa. So you said the larger piece will have a permanent home in New Hampshire. Purple, okay, so purple Santa is a Cushing pattern. And the larger Santa, this one here is an old tattered flag pattern. Both were hooked using number 6 and 7. So not, Kathleen, you don't use primitive, because primitive is considered number 8 and above. You don't use an 8, you use a 6 and a 7. And you still get this amazing primitive feel. Gosh, that's really something. So this one, larger one, I'm not sure how large, but so pretty. Kathleen always puts cool hangers on her stuff too. I always love to see that. Santa holding a little lamb. I mean, I guess that's the symbol of peace, right, at Christmas time. Absolutely beautiful. And with this piece, we also get to see where it's hanging. What a vignette with the brick fireplace, right? Some antiques kicking around the hearth. Some greenery. Oh, I love the sconce on the brick and the checkered curtain, right? It's such a good stage for primitive work. So pretty. This is just such a great piece. Don't you love the border on this? And again, Kathleen is so good at using, I'm going to stretch this a little bit too, because this one is in really good light. Kathleen is so good at making color decisions. Sometimes that's hard. Some of us are really good at it, others not so good at it. You know, it's not a strikeout when you're not good at it. It's just something you have to work harder on or get some help with. It's perfect. I agree, Nikki. It's perfect. The background's kind of like a brownie gold, and it's mixed because it looks tweedy. The coat is the traditional red. The fur must be like a herringbone or some kind of printed wool because it looks textured. And then that white border is so striking, right? It's a classic Christmas palette, holiday palette. Really striking, and that nice graphic sort of creeping up of the holly leaves and berries. Simple, beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. Teddy, I'm recording a show. Keep your voice down. Man, I'm telling you. All right, love them. You know I love them. Ryan, you sent some beauties. You sent some beauties. So Ryan writes, hello, Deanna and friends. Long time no see. I know you've been busy. I had a handful of things to show as I've been here and there creatively and spending more time on other mediums. Fantastic. But I thought you'd all appreciate the rug fiber work that I've been doing since earlier this year. Absolutely. First, a vintage pattern from the late 70s, early 80s. So this is a vintage pattern. This is a cutie, the little snail, isn't he? He is way cuter than the ones that I stumble across on my vintage rounds. What did you say about this? Hold on one second. Boop, 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 boop. Latch hook pattern, acrylic yarn, colors not true to the pattern. Well, that is okay. You say, I collect vintage latch patterns, and this is the most recently finished. That is a fun thing to collect. I think collecting any genre of vintage kind of rug making or fiber art is really fun. I have to say, I've noticed this lately. Like, I went off eBay for a really long time because I just get frustrated with stupid sellers saying things and describing things not as they are, and I just get triggered easily, I guess. But lately, I've been on there again, and I am seeing some of the brands that I really love and that I used to search for a lot, like needlepoint kits and embroidery kits and samplers and things like that, and patterns that I used to look for, that quilting or needle patterns, and it is fun. It's fun, and of course, Etsy has a ton of them too. Facebook Marketplace. Don't ever forget Facebook Marketplace because there is so much good stuff on there, and it might be down the street from you. You might not even have to like ship or anything like that. Such fun. Ryan, it is so much fun to collect something. It's really fun to collect a whole category of fiber art. Latch hook is fun. I think the thing that killed the craft for people coming out of the 70s was that there was a color palette that was associated to latch hook. And the reason for that was because there were only X amount of companies who were manufacturing latch hook kits. And they stuck with their colors. They kind of mixed and matched. They were the colors of the era. But you know, a lot of latch hook rugs share the same color palettes, right? It's cool to see a rug like this in a different color palette because I feel like I've seen this one in like the tomato red and brown with the avocado green. This is really fresh and pretty, and it looks like he's making his way across the grass. Now, just be reminded, latch hook backing is absolutely amazing. It's great for latch, using a latch hook with a toggle, but it's also great for rug hooking. It is stiff. That's the thing that you have to think about, if you can deal with it or not. But I have hooked in my first book, I hooked one of my favorite projects to date with ripped strips of wool. I think it was all wool. No, it was paisley. It was also paisley. Into latch hook backing. I ripped them really wide because you can see the latch hook backing is a window pane backing. It's very stiff. It can hurt your hands, right? You might want to wear gloves when you're doing it, but you do not need a frame, right? Pros and pluses and deltas is what you're supposed to say, I guess. Pros and cons to everything. But the scratchy backing is a con to this, but being able to put a much wider strip through it is a great plus for rug hookers too. Now, this is a latch finish, which means it has a cut pile. Just remember, you can do like Ryan's doing, and you can choose what colors you want to use for your latch piece. You don't, just because you find a kit at Savers or Goodwill doesn't mean you need to do it in those colors. You can look at what yarns you have from your crocheting or from your craft box. You can look at your own stuff and say, hey, I think I want to do something different. All you've got to do, this is what you've got to do right here. You take a piece of cardboard. Let's pretend this is a piece of cardboard. This is one of the pages I already used. Let's say I have a piece of cardboard and it's this big, right? I'm just going to wrap my yarn around it and around it, around it, around, and you don't want to go too thick because once it goes too thick, then unless you want an uneven surface, it's getting too long, right? And then you just cut it at the top like this with your scissors, just not both sides, because then it's half and it's not long enough to catch with the latch, just on one side, right? And you cut it just along the way here. You slice it with a razor or with scissors, and then one piece comes off that's this long, right? And that'll make a nice pile. And if you say, oh, I'm going to do the grass with that, I'm going to use my yarn from Joann's Fabric. I'm going to use my yarn. boop, boop, boop. I'm going to cut hundreds. I'm going to use, and if it's too thin, maybe I double them up and hook it double. You can latch hook double or triple. Whatever fits into the crook of the latch hook, you can pull up. No problem. Ryan says cardboard works, or use pom-pom makers. Or use pom-pom makers. Um, Gosh, I'm trying to picture that, Ryan. Like like a clover pom-pom maker? Why can't I picture that? I've made pom poms and I know where my pom pom makers are. I can't picture what that tool looks like. I know you're right, right? Because you do this and you just did this. Interesting. I'm gonna have to look into that. That sounds really fun and easy. That sounds easier than what I'm describing, Ryan. Would you say that's easier, the pom pom maker? Don't get the gadget that they used to produce for latch hook. Don't get the gadget. It works for 3 seconds and then it dies horrible and sudden death. It really is a garbage tool, honestly. Use anything but. Ryan, this is so beautiful. And I love the height of the pile. I love that you chose your own colors. And yeah, absolutely. This is so enabling and validating, thinking I can use a different tool. You can also use a latch hook in rug hooking backing. Like you can, I wouldn't do it in monk's cloth because it's too thready, and I wouldn't do it in rugwort because it's too tight. But you can latch hook into linen, and we know that because our friend Karen Garby has done quite a bit of that. She's used a latch hook in linen backing, also works. Amazing. So Ryan says, second rug, I made this in the spring, original design, and initially I disliked it. But I've pulled it back out, and now I kind of adore it. Isn't it great when that happens? I will make the connecting bit a little thicker, but I'm pleased with it. Next to whip the border. Ooh, interesting. Hold on just a second. Let me just make sure. Okay, okay, wait a minute. Okay, lastly, my second ever hooked rug attempt in progress, directly inspired by my first and only hooked rug. Okay, so this is one we're holding on for now. Yet this is a really unusual piece. This is very different. Very different. It reminds me of like steampunk glasses. It's really beautiful. It's a very different shape. It's very graphic. You've got quite a bit of shading going on in here. You know, when you punch, like I'm looking at the center of the orange on the left, when you punch, you punch with so many sort of color change or modeled, variegated materials that you really see texture, almost like a little braided rug or something. I love seeing the direction that you're punching in. Your punching is so tidy. It's really, really beautiful. I love the colors on this piece too. Oh, and this is a close-up, right? We're seeing one side of this. And here you didn't do the sort of echo thing. You kind of filled it in swirls. Really beautiful. I love the way with the darker yarn, hey buttons, you went around the circle. Really pretty. I like the shadows. It's nice having the lights and the darks. And the stars. This is very different, Ryan. It's very different. Oh, Dee, I'll see you very soon. I'll see you next weekend, before next weekend. Ryan says both ways with the latch are a little bit tedious. The pom-pom maker seems to get more even strips of yarn. Well, that's helpful to know for sure. How you get it more uniform is a big deal. So pom-pom maker, that's a great tip, Ryan. Thanks. That's the hack of the night. This is a beautiful piece too. I just love the swirl in the center. I love your colors. Uh, Nikki loves them too. Yeah, it's just beautiful. Yeah, your punching is fantastic. You are such a tidy puncher. Even from the beginning, right? Even from the very beginning, you took to it. I'm going to read a little bit on this one. You were good. You were good right out of the gate, and you had this strong graphic backbone. You had this vision of what you liked, vintage, but you also like whimsy, and you figured out immediately how to put it together. Of this piece, you say, lastly, my second ever hooked rug attempt in progress. Oh, so this is hooking, not punching. Directly inspired by my first and only hooked rug, the red and pink shack, yes. Um, and inspired by one of my favorite artists, Beverly Buchanan. I've once again challenged myself to using available materials. Good for you. I love it when you do that. A lot of it is actually from one of your advent calendars and the Halloween grab bags. Great. That's just what that stuff is for, is to use it at weird times. Like really, the intended use in my heart. I have to say, me and hooking are not close friends. I'm a puncher through and through, and it's been a fun. I'm going to show you some more of this one. Fun to challenge myself and shake things up, get out of the comfort zone. You can make something great, but you are still a puncher at heart, aren't you? Thanks for the love and space to share. As always, a very happy holiday season. Oh, you too, you too. Now, I know it. You have tried. You have tried, and they're not both for everybody, are they? Um, and it's not fun to work on something when you're struggling. Um, yeah, I get it. I get it. See, I feel that way about punch. It's a little bit reversed for me. I will do punch, but the things about punch that aren't that trigger me are quite big things. Um, yeah, it's just what you're comfortable. Whatever you're holding in your hand, right? It should be comfortable. It should be an extension of yourself. And for you, it really is a punch. But it's great that you're practicing your hooking. I love that you laid out the design like this. I know exactly the one that you're referring to, and this is coming along beautifully. And I know it's a struggle. I love the colors that you're laying out. I love the way you're blending the colors. Um, Ryan, I wonder if part of it is like you just miss. Well, you are hooking with quite a bit of yarn. You are hooking with wool strips too. Ryan, do you ever punch with wool strips or no? Because yeah, sometimes the material is frustrating too. You're doing a beautiful job, but I mean, I absolutely get it. Um, this is the first one, right, Ryan? You're not. This is yeah. This is the first one. This is the first hooked project. I love this piece. I just love this piece. I just love all the color changes. It's again modern, the oversized flower. I love the color changes on the front of the house. I love it being raised up on like cement blocks or whatever it's lifted on. It reminds me of the little beach houses where we stay. I love the mixture of materials. This one, you're hooking really wide loops, and you see them just having a party inside the walls of the house. It's exciting to look at those loops. They are luscious looking loops, absolutely beautiful. The door in the kind of army camouflage, absolutely beautiful. It's a breathtaking piece. And I know Pink Red Shack is your first. Yep, I remember this one, and I love it. And it's great that you went back to it to give it another shot. You should do with your time. You should do what you love the most, and your latch hook is looking really great too. Really great. Super fun. It's so much fun to have so many things that you love, right? Sorry, I'm running over a little bit, but we are getting to the end, and the ones at the end are fantastic. So you're not going to want to miss them. Now, I got this great email that I want to share with you. Wasn't entirely great, broke my heart a little bit, but this is one of the best messages I've gotten in a long time. So this piece is by Sarah Jane Fisher. And Sarah, I don't know if you're watching right now, but I just want to say I didn't have a lot of time over the holiday to write back as much as I wanted to. But you wrote me a beautiful message, and I appreciated it so much. I just loved it. I just loved it. I kept it right in my inbox. So Sarah Jane Fisher wrote, "Hi, I literally just took this out of the hoop. My intention is to turn it into a pillow for my porch. It is which is decorated all in rabbits. It's my own drawing, and it's hooked in acrylic yarns I already had, not knowing if I would want to keep the craft going. That's so perfectly common sense. This looks fantastic. You couldn't have hooked it in anything better. It looks great like this. I love the color choices are phenomenal, and the drawing of the rabbit is phenomenal. The whimsy in the background with the stars and swirls, phenomenal. This is a beautiful, beautiful piece. Let's keep reading. But you were smart to do that. However, it wasn't even 10 minutes into this project before I knew that I was hooked. I bet. You could tell that you loved working on it because you did really well. I like the shape of the eye and the silhouette of the head. It's very natural, but it's very endearing. It's very well done. So you wrote, I am a visual artist working mainly with needle felting and paper mache. I was drawn to this craft not just for its historic and thrift aspects, which is totally my jam, but because all the action takes place below the fabric, out of sight. So fully sighted folks are working as blindly as I am, which makes me think I can do this. That's a great point. When you're rug hooking as opposed to using a punch needle, your hand is underneath feeding the material up. That's the hard job. The hand on top is like the dummy robot that's just going pull, pull, pull. But the one underneath is the one that's twisting the strip or the yarn, finding the crook of the hook, getting it in there, positioning it so it can be pulled to the surface. It's the hand that does all the hard work, and that hand is absolutely working blindly. I am newly visually impaired. Okay, this is where it takes a turn. Having been diagnosed with early onset macular degeneration at 47 years old. I am now 50 and my disease has progressed to late stage called geographic atrophy. The average age at this stage is 89 years old, so it is crazy early for me to be this advanced at all. I just want to say that I'm grateful for your videos and how you express an ease to be getting this lovely art form and making it one's own. You're extremely good at putting the viewer at ease. Oh, thank you. And encouraging us to not get stuck by the stumbling blocks that we can put in our own way when starting a new craft. Sarah, you are so right. You are so right. You know, it's all in our head. If there's one thing that I wish that I could give to everybody through osmosis over this show, it's confidence, right? It's not technique. It's not cool materials or expensive tools. It's just confidence. When you have confidence to just keep working, if you just give yourself a hot minute, stop judging it after there's 10 loops in there and pulling the same 10 loops out. Just give yourself the hot minute. You'll realize it all comes together. It comes together so beautifully. It's like magic. It takes time. It takes patience. It takes time. I feel like that's a song. It comes together beautifully. And Sarah Jane, in this case, this came together beautifully. I just love what you drew. I love the patterned grass, or I love where the rabbit is sitting. It's beautiful. Vertical, right? Sort of orientation to the striping, and then horizontal in the sky, which is exciting. And all of the horizontals and verticals completely broken up with those wild stars dancing on these long sort of gusts of golden wind. It's absolutely beautiful. The ground is patterned, the sky is patterned, the bunny is very, very stable. You can even see the lightness. I've got my mind set on you. I've got my mind set on you. Oh my God, you're right. Nikki, you're right. It takes patience, a whole lot of, no, precious time. Okay, I'm stopping. I'm going to listen to that later. Forgot about that song. Oh, what's that like? What's that like? The Traveling Wilburys or something like that? Something like that? Sorry, detour. You did really well with the shape of the rabbit and the little softer little underbelly. Really beautiful form. Really fun. Absolutely beautiful. This is a great first piece. And I have to say, I don't know anything about this condition at all, but it seems incredibly unfair that the average age to have this problem is 89, and you're younger than I am. You are 50. I am so sorry that this happened to you. Having said that, in a weird way, it seems like you are the person who can deal with this, and you are the person who can persevere and have a great quality of everything. The crafts you want to do, you can make things, you're going to make things turn out the way that you see them. You are going to deal with this. You are going to make this work. You are going to be the person who figures this out. So I'm making lemonade here out of awful bitter lemons for sure. But I guess maybe one of the only pluses and deltas, pluses about having a problem like this, and I know a lot of you out there. I know a lot of you personally. I know a lot of the things that are going on health-wise with a lot of the people who are out there, like personally. I am invested. I know. I don't forget, and I feel awful about these things. And I'm so happy to see people who are struggling with major problems to continue working, even though it's slow, even though it's difficult. When you can, not when it's impossible and miserable, when you can, it's good to keep working. And I feel like Sarah Jane, in your case, it's awful for this to happen so early, but you didn't choose it and you can't change it. But you are at an age where you still have that spirit, right? Because if you were 89, you might say, forget it, right? I'm not doing this. You are of an age where you would say, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this instead of this. I'm going to make this work. Look, it's working. Resilience, right? Because of your age. There's nothing good about it, right? I get there's nothing good about it. But I really hope to see a lot of your work in the near future, and I'm very happy that you're there. Very happy. I was also wondering, I was wondering what part of the country you were in, and if I was anywhere near you. Just wondering. All right, Nikki, you are on deck. You are on deck. Now, wait a minute. I think, yep, you are on deck. So Nikki is here tonight. I just want to say, okay, I was very happy and surprised to get your message because I couldn't believe you already started working on something. I couldn't believe it. So you wrote this to me. I was sitting on the couch in the other room, wrapping up the show, and I was putting the last slides and saving them all over the place and uploading them and all that stupid stuff. And you wrote, "This is Nikki. We met on your live on Wednesday." And I remembered that, of course. "I wanted to know about how to get started rug hooking, and I got started. I'm making a small swatch of burlap with yarn and a you're using your crochet hook. You're using the 3.25. That's perfect hook that says hooker. Let me show you the piece. So we talked about this, if you remember, the other day. You're working on a hoop, right? You've got your material in the hoop. You said on Wednesday, what do I need a rug hook? And we had this conversation. You could use like a 3 to a 3.5. You went right in the middle to 3.25. And it seems to be working great for you. You're getting some great speed going, so I'm thinking it is working great for you. But you say, okay, I've ordered a primitive hooking needle, a primitive rug hook, and a square frame and stand better suited for hooking, which will sit on a tabletop. Perfect. Thanks for your guidance and making me feel so welcome. I'm so happy to be here. Well, I am so happy that you're there. You know what else I'm happy about, Nikki? I hope it's okay that I say this, but I loved at the end of your email, your quote that goes with your signature says, in this lifetime, be courageous. I think that is so beautiful and so fitting. Absolutely love it. And I was going to ask you where you're from, but I already found out. This is working great. You're going to have more success with the hook, I think. But it's great that you got this far with the crochet hook, right? Like, this was great. You know that you're doing it. You know it's coming out great. I love your colors. And I see why you like the work that you particularly liked tonight. You like bold stuff. You like colorful stuff. You like graphic, energized stuff, right? You're a fireball. I can tell. You're going to love this craft. You're going to love that you can use anything to hook. You're going to love just grabbing stuff or seeing stuff or finding stuff. You're going to love it when you rip your clothes because you probably want to hook with those colors. You're just going to love it. Every time you sit down and do something, it's going to be relaxing. It's going to be creative. And you just started right out of the gate hooking letters and doing something that's your own pattern. I think that's amazing. I think you're amazing. I'm super excited that you're there. And I can't wait to see what you're working on. And yep, let's make sure that we connect. 2025, let's try to be together as often as we can here and in person. Let's try to get it together, stay tight, work on projects together, help each other along, right? This is amazing. This is amazing. Judy says letters are hard. Good job. They are, they're pretty much the hardest thing, letters and faces. You did the hardest part already. You're just going to do more of the same. And when you have that frame and the rug hook, it will be different enough that you'll go, whoa, this is like the Rolls Royce, just being set up a little bit better. It's remarkable that you got this much done this fast using tools they're great tools for starting, but this is what people have. This is what you should do. But now you know you can do it, and it's going to go so much faster and easier with your different tools. I can't wait to see what you do next. Honestly, I cannot wait. It's so much fun. It's all so much, isn't it? Everything is just so much fun. Whenever I get in a really bad mood, which is a lot, I have to admit, I think about like all the projects that are sitting out there. I think about coming back here where we talk about each other's stuff, and I look on Facebook and I see what people are working on, and I think, this is the golden thread that, like, at least for me, runs through my life and connects us all, connects our project, connects our work to each other and to all of the people who were before us. And it's amazing to be connected by anything, right? These days, it's amazing to feel connected. Oh, Sarah Jane, you're there. I hope you were there a minute ago. I did yours the piece before. It's great to see you. Thank you, Nikki, and thank you for such good. Oh, good, you did. Good, good. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. It was great to have 2 new people submitting stuff to gallery night. Isn't that amazing? See, that is a testament. Whether you're brand new or not, start participating, right? Just participating is it. Showing up in life is everything. All the other stuff we figure out together, but just showing up is everything. You both did amazing work. Super welcome. I don't want to let you go, so stay connected. Stay connected. All right, so one more thing I want to show you tonight, and then I will pull the plug because I haven't eaten dinner and I am getting real hungry. Now, remember the other day on Coffee Time, we did the woolly bears. So one of the live Coffee Times, like 2 or 3 weeks ago, I laid out, oh, I thought that was my woolly bear. It's not. I laid out my burlap right on my smallest frame, and I cut like a little caterpillar shape, and I laid them out with my Sharpie marker, nothing fancy, just boom, right there in the moment. And a bunch of you all did that too. And we all hooked our woolly bears. The woolly bear is the name of the caterpillar. We all hooked them a little bit differently, and they are all special and beautiful. So some of the other ones have popped up, and I wanted to share Barbara Cornish's woolly bear, absolutely precious, with a little primitive house in it. These are small pieces, right? And this is like a winter scene, right? Because remember, the woolly bear is like the little prophet of the weather. If there's more black than brown, it's going to be a harder winter. So that is how it goes. At least that's what I've heard. We saw Melissa working on hers, and she finished hers. Absolutely beautiful. Melissa Gauthier in Canada. Absolutely beautiful. And okay, this one's mine from the video. So I was in the video, I recorded a video. If you finished yours or any project, I just sewed the edges under, like just sewed them under, no borders. I have videos on borders that are really, really long videos, like an hour plus. This is just a short video that just shows you basic. Let's sew it's a small piece. It's a mug rug, right? So yeah, quick little video. That's a still of mine from the video. And this is Sandy. Sandy Costello did a beautiful example too. And Sandy wrote something beautiful on the Facebook page that I want to share. Oh, wait a minute. Oh no. Okay, wait a minute. Oh no. Oh no. Wait a minute. Sorry, I feel like I lost. Oh boy. Hold on. 5. Okay, 8. I'm looking for page number 9. Oh no. Did I screw this up? I screwed it up. Hold on one second. Give me 1 second. I really wanted to show you this. You know what? I can do this. Hold on 1 second. Just give me 1 minute. Not even. Okay, take my airplane mode off. I'm going to see if I can find. I really want to read you. I'll come back to this. I really want to read you what she wrote because it was so nice. So I'm going to, just so you know, the Facebook page, which is Rug Hooking and Punch Needle Club. There are almost 23,000 members at this point. I saw a post came up from 2022 right on top. How weird is that? I'll have to move that down. Okay, so let me find it. I got to read this to you because it really is so cute. Let me do Sandy Costello. And here it is. Okay, I got it. So she wrote, I'm going to show you her piece again. This is what she wrote. A few weeks later, so she finished this a little bit later. A few weeks later, but here is my woolly worm design called Woolly Worm's Winter. As you may know, there is a folk tale I did not know associated with the woolly bear caterpillar based on work of a scientist in New York. People believed that the more black, this part I did know, the more black on the caterpillar, the harsher the winter. The more brown or rust, the milder the winter. More black in the front, the winter starts cold and snowy, and so on, right? Anyway, because their color blocking is in different parts from one to the next. Anyway, the scientists found in year 1, the hair pattern, mostly black, supported the hypothesis that the winter was really cold and snowy. The study was replicated for 7 more years and was inconclusive. Most people didn't realize the caterpillar most people don't realize the caterpillar is one stage of life, and the caterpillar morphs into the Isabella tiger moth. Oh, I didn't know that. In the spring, and which is beautiful in its own right. Here in Lewisburg, Pennsylvania, we have a woolly worm festival in the fall, and then Western Pennsylvania has the Punxsutawney Phil event in February to prognosticate again about winter. Maybe we'll have a hook. Maybe we'll have to hook groundhogs in January. This was fun. Thanks, Deanna. You know what? That's a great idea. I think, hold on one second. I want to show you my friend Shannon's too. Shannon did a very pretty long skinny one that's outlined with this tweedy fabric. And there's lots of them and they're more uniform, which just goes to show from one woolly caterpillar to the next, they're I've never said this sentence before, but they are all like, they can be so different, right? And it's the way that we saw them, right? Because Shannon did hers like as a pattern. It's a great pattern. It's very busy. It could be like wallpaper. Couldn't you see this in like a sunroom or something? Like this as wallpaper would be so pretty. It'd be a busy little design, but simple colors, right? Repeat colors. Really well done. Absolutely love that. I'm really looking forward next weekend to seeing Shannon, spending some time with Shannon, and seeing Dee and some of the buddies down in the Wilmingtons at the Wilmingtons Guild. That's in Delaware. It's Maryland. It's Maryland. It's over the Maryland line. So I'll be there next weekend on Saturday for that meeting. Listen, I think in January we should hook a Punxsutawney Phil groundhog. And in fact, near us here in Essex, Connecticut, I don't know if there's other ones of these, but there is a Groundhog Day parade. And they have got this giant life-size sort of effigy of a groundhog. I say effigy because he's had some problems. He's like over 100 years old. He looks like a piece of taxidermy, but he's life-size. Nightmarish, right? He's on a float. It's nightmarish. But he caught fire not that long ago. There was like an accident in a storage, from what I've heard. It was a my bad kind of thing. Somebody who was like working or interning or something like that, and he caught fire. And they had like a guy in a groundhog costume, but now I think they're back to having this thing up on a platform. I mean, it's very medieval, right? I mean, we've been to this event, and people have pots and pans, and they're like clanging them as the parade is happening, so it's super super loud. We didn't go for a few years because of my autistic son Teddy wasn't dealing with it well in the early years, but now I think he would, at this point in our autism, just take a pot and pan and just go for it. So yes, to groundhogs in February. I would in January. I would love that. So we're ready for February. We should definitely do that. Help me remember, because help me remember. I love to do these pop-up hook-ins. Let's do one every month. Let's do a pop-up hook-in every month, like something simple that we can do in coffee time. Finish off if you like it. Maybe it's just not giving you good vibes and you pass on it, but at least we could try working on stuff together like that. I have a bunch of other stuff to say. Hold for me. I'm going to see for either today or tomorrow. Maybe check back tomorrow. Give me a minute to make sure that the link from Amazon is good so you can order the next Magpie Times. I super appreciate it. I'm gonna send you the link because you'll go through my store, and then I'm not selling them immediately from my store. And I have to admit, I will benefit like in cents, but it all adds up a lot from the Amazon affiliate program. And I would love it if you went through my link to get it, just because I didn't get it out in time because the laying out of it was so difficult with a very busy and full issue. So I will put that out for you tomorrow, and I hope that you will pick up Magpie Times #4. And I hope you're thinking about things that you want to do for Busy Bee, like the bee themed issue of the next Magpie, deadline February 1st. So plenty of time. Anything to do with being busy, with bees, with insects, with butterflies, with anything spring, even flowers, and anything spring is good. Special emphasis on bees, not just rug hooking. Whatever it is that you do that you love, think about whether there's an article in there. We would love to see it. If you have a project that fits that category that will go into the gallery, send us that. Don't just send us, you can if you want, but you don't have to just send us the, it's getting hot in here, measurements and stuff. You could say, well, the reason I chose this is because blah, blah, blah. And it reminded me of blah, blah, blah. And I while I was hooking it, you can always send, this is Magpie Times. You can always send something longer if there's a story attached with it. Oh, when I was hooking this, I remember I was sitting on the porch of our rental place over the summer, and it was just such a good week because you can always tell us extra stuff because it's always fun to read. Think about what you might contribute to Magpie Times number 5. So that will be the spring issue of 2024. I have a bunch of other stuff for you, but if you are on the mail list, whatever that's called for ribbon candy hooking, we will be sending something out tomorrow with all of the new products. There are more new products than I've mentioned, but in the meantime, look out for Magpie Times. I will be putting that out as a link. And also the murder mystery puzzle, right, is in this video as a link. Did you all see that little video that we made? Because that was the work of that. I used all my brain power between now and 2025 to get that done. There's a little video promo that we did that shows you about the puzzle and the 9 suspects and the 9 characters that Mandy Cornish hooked. And then you would make the puzzle, right? You order the puzzle. Tell me you order it. I'll send you the story. Don't do cheaty peaties. Do not do cheaty peaties. You have to make the puzzle. And there is no picture for it because it's a mystery puzzle. Once you've made it, you should be able to look at the puzzle and go, oh, and you'll know who did it. And the solution is in it too. But do not do cheaty peaties. Come on. So that product is already right there. And we'll send out a newsletter. That's the word. Tomorrow. So you can see what else we've got going on at Ribbon Candy Hooking. There's some fun stuff coming up in December. It is late and I'm hungry. I bet you're tired. I will see you tomorrow for coffee time at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will. You know what? Let's do 12 tomorrow. I'm going to bump it to 12 because I haven't got any content ready yet, and I need to think of something and eat and maybe sleep too. Finish the advent calendar. Let's do noon tomorrow. I will be on with you at noon tomorrow, Eastern Standard Time. I'll find something great for us to do together. And in the meantime, have a great sleep. It was great seeing you. Thank you to everybody who sent in your beautiful projects. Thanks, Nikki. I love that video. Thank you for sending in all of your beautiful projects. Everything tonight, as always, was an inspiration and gave all the rest of us great ideas for things that we might do, new designs, new colors, new projects, new techniques, right? We saw everything tonight, new hacks. Everything was a lot of fun. Have a great night, everybody. I will see you tomorrow. Take care.